Pay attention! We're starting now! Go!
What is up, everybody? Welcome here to Pop Culture Philosophers. Welcome, in fact, to Rockin Robbie Live. I am your host, Rockin Robbie Billups. How is everybody doing? Hope you had a great weekend. I've had an okay weekend. I've had a better Sunday than I did Friday or Saturday. I actually was a little bit under the weather. I feel like I got food poisoning for the third time in my life from Subway. Well, I think I'm done with Subway, unfortunately. However, maybe it's fortunately for me, but I was definitely under the weather for the last couple of nights. In fact, I wasn't even sure I'd be going live today. Kind of spurred the moment. I was like, you know what? I'm feeling pretty good. Let's get to it. Let's do Rockin Robbie Live. How is everybody? I hope you had a better weekend than I did. Though, like I said, today's been good, and it's always great to wrap up the weekend here with you, talking comics, movies, pop culture, and a whole lot more. Before we get started, I just want to say you can follow me on Twitter /X at @TheRockinRobbie. You can follow Pop Culture Philosophers on Facebook and on Instagram. You should definitely do that. And if you're on Facebook, you should join the PCP Army. That's the official Pop Culture Philosophers Facebook group. Also, live right now over at the PCP Army, our Facebook group is a poll. That's right. Pinned towards the top of the page of the group is our 2025 Action Fest Van Damme poll right now. That poll's going to end at the end of this week, and whichever Van Damme movie has the most votes, that will be added into our Action Fest lineup for 2025. Every Monday night in July is PCP Action Fest, and this year we actually got another channel to join us, so it's going to be bigger and better than ever. The full Action Fest lineup, the reveal, is next week here on Rockin Robbie Live. So that's going to be super fun and super cool. So if you're a member of the PCP Army, go in there and vote. Right now, Hard Target is edging out No Retreat, No Surrender. Everything else is distant from those two. It seems like one of those two is going to be the winner. So if you want your voice to be heard, this is your chance. All right. Aside from that, we got a great show planned for tonight, including going back to our look at Batman Hush with Chapter 3, Batman 610, with DC in the Oddies. We're going to be talking about a movie review. That's right, a brand new movie just dropped this week. I went and saw it, Karate Kid Legends. We'll be talking about that tonight as well. And we've got the DC sneak peek. But this show, even though we got a plan, some would call it grandiose, this show is driven, fueled, if you will, by your questions, your thoughts, your comments, your concerns. So get them in right now. What do you want to chat about here on this fine Sunday night? By the way, also, if you want to help support the channel, you can do so over at patreon.com/PCP, like these fine PCP patrons right there, with a super chat, or we are funding right now the Rockin Robbie trip to Heroes Con. So let me explain this real quick. If you super chat me tonight, I'll get that money well after Heroes Con. So if you want to directly support the cause for the journey and the stay at Heroes Con, you can do so at my PayPal or through CashApp. The CashApp and the PayPal links, I think, are in the description below. But if you are interested in helping fund the Heroes Con journey, let me know. We do, of course, have press badges, so I will be allowed into the con, but getting there, of course, is where we might need a little bit of support. So if you want to support, you can Cash App or you can PayPal directly. Just let me know if you are interested in doing so. Also, you can find podcasts and more at popculturephilosophers.com. Tomorrow night, PCP Movie Night, 8 p.m. Central Time. This is where we gather every Monday night and talk about the movie of the week. And we are in neck deep into Crew's Choice. And we are on Joe Corallo's pick, Children of Paradise. This is a black and white French film about a mime in love, basically. And it is over 3 hours long. But do not let that sway you from checking out this movie and definitely checking out our conversation. I rather enjoyed this film, and I think it will be a great conversation. That'll be tomorrow night here on the channel on PCP Movie Night at 8 p.m. Central Time. We now pause for station identification. I want to see those stations pop up in the chat. All right, here we are. How is everybody doing? I hope you're doing great, y'all. All right, we got GT Key Comic. Let's take a look at the chat. We got GT Key Comic in the house. First, as usual, we got Pete. Pete saying, what is up, everybody? I hope you're all doing fantastic. Station. I'm starting a channel for comics and pop culture, and I would love any support from the PCP community. You're all the best. Well, Station, bruh, good luck with starting the new channel. Definitely, you have to be an admin to throw a link into the channel, but if you'll put the name of the channel out there, I'll get an admin to drop the link to the channel. We can all go sub up, and if you got good content, we'll keep watching, bruh, but good luck with everything, man. Looking forward to seeing it. Chocos26 is here. What is up, my man? I'm on vacation, so I'm glad I've been able to watch the videos of the best of the month and this Rockin Robbie Live. Yeah, we just did the best comics of the month stream on Thursday night. Me, Bearded Comic Bro, Nick from Comic Culture, and Eric from 9 Panel Grid had a great conversation about our favorite comic books of May 2025. If you missed out on that, check it out. I got a little tipsy that night. Then I ate some Subway, and then I had a big think, and then I woke up the next day, and I was sick as shit for 2 days. Derek is in the house. Happy Sunday yourself. We got something new going on here. Some people are popping in, and they got like number 1s, number 2s, and number 3s, and I see this thing. There's a community board now. For some reason, it is ranking y'all and giving you XP. I don't know. I think this might be based on comments or something. But right now, we got Chocos at number 1, Fable at number 2. I didn't even see Fable in the damn chat. GT Key Comic at number 3, Christina Payne at number 4, K Dynamite at number 5. Most Dope Comics at number 6, Southside Ronin at number 7. Xanthon at 8, 9 Panel Grid at 9. Dante at 10, CTA Frank at 11, and Brute at 12. Interesting. Do y'all see that too? That's weird. What's up with that? What's the leaderboard? What does that even mean? What's XP? What's getting XP here do? How do I get XP? Let's do it. Southside Ronin says, what's poppin', family? Station love from Chicago. Oh, Chocos, I'm feeling so much better now. So much better. 9-Panel Grid says, how many times do I got to tell this guy to stop ordering the tuna salad sandwich from Subway? You don't have to tell me, man. I've never gotten sick off the tuna salad sandwich, though it's not typically a go-to. First time I ever got sick from Subway, it was a steak and cheese sub. I never got that again. Second time I got sick from Subway, it was an oven roasted chicken sub. I've never gotten that again. This time, it was just a fucking turkey breast sub. Actually, it wasn't even a sub. It was a wrap. It was a turkey breast wrap. Just turkey. Turkey. 3 times. Once, twice, 3 times. Shitting myself and throwing up. Not pleased. Not pleased. That was not fun at all. It was not fun at all. In fact, I'm drinking this beer right now, and it's like not feeling the greatest because I'm pretty sure I'm all torn up from all the acid that's been coming out of my system these last couple of days. So maybe I shouldn't be drinking a beer, but I'm drinking light tonight. Very light. Very light. I'm not shooting tequila tonight, y'all. But I'll be honest, Eric, I kind of like the tuna salad from Subway. But here's the thing, man. Let's be honest. Everything Subway got, I can make it and I can make it better. So why the hell am I even ordering Subway? Laziness. Laziness. And everybody was like, well, what Subway? Is it the same Subway? I have no idea what fucking Subway it was. I ordered it through DoorDash. I have no idea what Subway they went and got it from. I guess I could research it, but you know what? I think I'm just done with Subway. And I'm not even angry at them because Subway's never necessarily done me wrong, except for giving me food poisoning 3 times in my life. Now, it's not like 3 times within the last year or 6 months or even, hell, 5 years. It's like 3 times over the course of like 25 years, but that's probably enough for me. Probably enough for me, y'all. I mean, maybe I should just go to Subway and just get tuna salad and try that experiment and see what happens. But, you know, I used to work at a sandwich shop called Subzone, and yeah, that lunch meat is in those little like jars, and it's refrigerated, kind of. But it is kind of just sitting out there all day and exposed to a lot of air. So maybe that's not super wise. I don't know. Choco says Karate Kid, the OG, is in my top 5 of all time. The original Karate Kid is a masterpiece. You know, like, we've covered it a lot here on the channel. Whether it was like just going through Cobra Kai, which I finally finished Cobra Kai. So I have not watched the last 2 episodes of Breaking Bad season 1 yet. I will do that for the next show. I did not do it this week because I got caught up on Cobra Kai because the new Karate Kid movie came out this weekend. And even though I was pretty certain that nothing about the end of Cobra Kai would be spoiled by the new Karate Kid movie, and it definitely isn't. If you haven't caught up on Cobra Kai, or if you haven't seen Cobra Kai, you can still watch the new Karate Kid movie. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. But I just wanted to get that out of the way just in case. So Breaking Bad focused in on this week because I did finally knock out Cobra Kai. I've been holding on to those last 5 episodes for so long, and I think it's because I didn't want it to end. But yeah, I mean, overall, I thought the ending of Cobra Kai was damn near perfect. I don't want to spoil anything in case you're not caught up, but they do a great job of kind of bringing the focus back to Johnny Lawrence and Cobra Kai at the end and refining the end and tying it to the beginning of the show. Cobra Kai was amazing. Is it cheesy? Yes. Is it stupid? Yes. Is it horribly written at times? Yeah. Is it melodramatic? Abso-fucking-lutely. However, it's fucking awesome. I love Cobra Kai, and it's really helped me appreciate more of the Karate Kid sequels because they really mine those, at least those initial 3 movies. One thing now that Karate Kid or Cobra Kai is all said and done, I think, you know, you could have tried to get Hilary Swank in there. I bet they did try, and I bet it didn't work. They could have also tied it a little bit more into the Jackie Chan movie, which is called The Karate Kid. But that was the job of this new one, and we'll talk about that. But overall, I was very pleased with the end of Cobra Kai. And yeah, maybe I got a little teary-eyed at a couple moments. But that's just because you're saying goodbye to these characters that you've been invested in for years at this point. But, you know, the original Karate Kid is amazing, Choco. So that being in your top 5 of all time, no shit, right? What's crazy is I always remembered Karate Kid, you know, being one of my favorite movies when I was a kid. But I remember, like, not too long ago, I mean, this was probably like 10 years ago or so, watching it for the first time in a long time, being like, man, this movie's actually, like, not just a childhood favorite. It's legit an incredibly powerful and impacting movie. It's really good. Hey, what's up, Christina? How you doing? Christina says, spread the love and hit the thumbs up button, everybody. That would really help us out. Hit that thumbs up, that like. I appreciate it. Looks like we got about 25-ish people in here. Only 14 likes, so let's get some more likes up in here, please. There's Fable, my man. What is going on? Dante's Game Room. Station. Dynamite's in the house. Oh, thank you so much, Fable, for sharing Pete's channels. Most dope comics. All right, I am now subscribed to you, Pete. Don't let me down. Anthony Davis says, you see that Grant Morrison and Dan Mora are doing the Batman Deadpool? Yes, and Zeb Wells and Greg Capullo are doing Deadpool Batman. So just like they did back in the 90s, they're doing these DC Marvel crossovers. DC will publish one. Marvel will publish one. They did this before, right? So like DC publishes Batman, Spider-Man, or Batman, Punisher. Marvel publishes Spider-Man, Batman, Punisher, Batman, right? That kind of a thing. So Zeb Wells, Greg Capullo on the Deadpool Batman one. Greg Capullo on that book. That's awesome. That's exciting. Zeb Wells? Okay, that's fine. But Greg Capullo is like a superstar. That makes sense. Zeb Wells? I mean, Zeb Wells is an okay writer, but he kind of had a pretty divisive run on Amazing Spider-Man just now. So what are we doing there, y'all? I don't know. But Marvel seems to think that's a great idea, so we'll see. However, the DC one, which is Batman Deadpool, as was stated by Anthony, is Grant Morrison and Dan Mora. That's perfect. One of the best artists at DC currently, one of the best writers DC's ever had. That's awesome. Plus, Grant is familiar with Batman, had a very extensive run of Batman, and also utilized him perfectly well in JLA. And here's something I want to say. Grant Morrison's JLA run has a lot to do with modern Batman, more so than people give it credit for. I really do believe. The Batman personification in Grant Morrison's JLA run, along with Howard Porter and other artists, that really took Batman into a level that is still being utilized and explored in comics today. From the very, very beginning. But I'm very excited. Plus, I don't know if Grant's ever written Deadpool. I'm thinking really hard. I don't think Deadpool ever showed up in New X-Men. Definitely wasn't in Marvel Boy or Fantastic Four 1, 2, 3, 4, or the little tiny Nick Fury story that Grant did in Marvel Knights Double Shot or whatever. Skrull Kill Crew. No. There's not much else that Grant did at Marvel. So yeah, I don't think Grant's ever written Deadpool, so that's going to be interesting. How Grant deals with the breaking of the fourth wall stuff and how that ties into your typical Grant Morrison comic book shenanigans. And Dan Mora, and of course Grant and Dan work very well together. They did Klaus together, which is their Santa Claus book. So really, really excited. Super excited for it, y'all. Grant coming back to do a DC comic. Batman Deadpool is even better. This just seems so crazy to me. I'm very excited. What do you think? I'm more excited for the DC one, but I am still excited for the Marvel one too, because I think Deadpool Wolverine, or Deadpool Batman, I think Greg Capullo will really kill it, and I think Zeb Wells will do a fine job. All right, Fable just subbed up to Pete's channel. If everybody else could do the same, and let us know that you did. We'll give you a little bit of that early PCP boost, but it's not as much as people think. Oh, you're welcome, Pete. And R-Truth got fired from WWE. Bro, that was right here. You're hitting everything that I was like, in case I get no questions, here are the things to talk about. Deadpool, Batman, Wolverine was right there. Now it's R-Truth and Carlito, by the way. That news just broke too. So yeah, R-Truth has been released from the WWE. He revealed on his Twitter account earlier today. Carlito just revealed that they are not going to renew his contract, and so when his contract's over, and I don't know when that is, he's done, which sucks, but he hasn't really been doing a lot of in-ring action. He just usually shows up to do some, interference, shenanigans and shit like that. But he did just win a title in a promotion down in Puerto Rico, so he was going to be able to, he's going to be able to come back, probably be on Raw tomorrow night with that title, and then like more titles come to the Judgment Day. But yeah, his contract's not renewed, and he's going to do his own thing. Maybe he's got a big promise in that promotion or something like that. Maybe they work something out. I don't know. R-Truth thing really does suck, because R-Truth is fucking hilarious. He's awesome. And he just had that great match with John Cena. Like, technically sound? No. Hilarious and funny? Yeah. And then on SmackDown. I don't watch SmackDown very often, right? I don't really have access to it. Plus, I'm not as invested in that as I am Raw. And Raw is it's on Netflix. I watch it right after we wrap up PCP movie night. It's kind of become a Monday night tradition for me, right? It's my reward for having done my show with Dynamite over at the EXP, and then PCP movie night plus FOC all day long. And then I get to just kick back, have a beer, and watch Monday Night Raw. And I really enjoy watching Raw. I don't watch SmackDown very much. Plus, it's Friday night. Fridays aren't always my life is structured to a point, and one of the things that's very structured in my life is Mondays, right? So it's easy for me to just stay caught up on Raw. Not so much with SmackDown, but I do watch the clips. Anyway, all that to say, he just did that fucking thing with, what's the dude's name who just came in that Solo brought in to help him and Jacob Fatu out? JC? Some shit like that. He's like, man, is this your son? You husky, ain't you? Like, oh man, you can keep R-Truth around. He's been there for 17 years. Fuck, man. I hate to see it, because that dude's been hilarious. So I guess was that match with Cena was his big send-off? That's so weird. So weird. Cantonese Comic Kid, what is up? How you doing? Joe is here saying 1 word, 4 letters. Yeet. Yeah, a lot of people bitch about the yeet. I love it. I did love that bit in SmackDown too, where he shows up with Cody, Cena comes out, brings out Logan Paul, they're having their good thing, and we're all leading into Money in the Bank. Money in the Bank is this Saturday. Very excited. Today, everybody, actually, is Jelani's birthday. Today is Jelani Day. So if you are on Facebook in particular, jump in the PCP Army, give him a shout out, say happy birthday, make him feel good and special, because he's worth it. And Jelani's one of my best friends in this whole wide world. We've known each other for about 25 years now, probably a little bit more than that, which is pretty fucking crazy. Pretty sure I met him in 1999. It may have been 98. No, it was 99. It was 1999 when I met Jelani. Though we were in the same school, and we were even on the same trip. He was in choir, I was in band. We were in the same trip in 97 or something, but we didn't really know each other. So we kind of officially met when I worked at Hollywood 18, which is a movie theater in town, or was. It's no longer, they destroyed it after COVID. The last movie we watched at our beloved theater was Bloodshot. And then the COVID pandemic happened. The theater got shut down, closed, got destroyed. Now they're building a fucking strip mall over it. So that's nice. But yeah, it's Jelani's birthday. So we're celebrating his birthday Saturday at Money in the Bank. And I'm very much looking forward. I have so much fun hanging out with the crew and the homies. Me and the homies, we used to hang out all the time, right? We'd hang out all the time, man. We used to it was like nobody even invited anybody to do anything. Everybody would just show the fuck up to my house. Or you know, like especially when I lived at the pad, right? Which was like a bachelor pad where like 3 of us lived, right? So people would just show up and there was always people there. We'd always be hanging out, right? Since those days are long gone, now it's like, oh, we got to make plans to hang out, and we rarely fucking do. Everybody's busy. We hang out like all the time. I'll be like, no, we hang out every Monday night. It's like, bro, we're doing a show. It's like, yeah, we're doing a show, but like, it's how I hang out with y'all and talk about movies. And it's fun. But what I love about getting back into wrestling is it gives me so many opportunities to hang out with my boys, right? Now, we don't get together and watch Monday Night Raw or Friday Night SmackDown, but we do get together, and we've been watching the PLEs. We even got together and watched Saturday Night's Main Event that last time, and just had so much fun hanging out with the boys. It's a good excuse to do it. We always used to go watch movies together. Don't even do that anymore. Now it's like, fuck, it's Sunday, 10:30 a.m., I'm going to go watch a fucking movie. I just go by myself now. But yeah, wrestling has brought me and my friends closer again. We're hanging out more. And I'm really looking forward to Money in the Bank. I'm excited about the matchups. Still got a couple of people to qualify. We'll find out who those people are going to be. I guess tomorrow night and Friday night probably. Very excited for that main event tag team match. Hey, Sleepy Reader, what's up? Your stuff got sent to you, man. I hope you're getting it soon. You should get it soon, if not already. I don't know how long it takes to ship shit. But I sent you a few copies of the Mark Spears Monsters Free Comic Book Day in case anybody up in your area was also looking for it. And I drew you something. I was trying to find something to send extra, and then I messaged you, and I was like asking you about Agent of World, and I was like, man, I'm not going to find shit that he hasn't read yet. So I'll think if I can think of something, I'll send it at a later date. Stick to the Alabama pancakes from now on. Yeah, I don't really eat those that much. I mean, the chalupa was a fun bit for a minute, especially during the Bueller days. I don't even think Bueller eats many chalupas anymore. That's why he's one of the reasons why he lost so much fucking weight. Dungeon Crawler Carl, maybe it's Subway. Yeah, it's totally Subway. It's totally Subway. Stay away from Subway, y'all. Which sucks, because I really do like their wraps. And not a lot of people have... I mean, let me be honest. I'll be honest, y'all. You know who makes the best wrap? And what I mean by a wrap is I'm talking about lunch meat in like a fucking tortilla with a bunch of veggies and shit like that, right? Y'all know what I mean, right? Not a lot of people make these fucking things. And I'm not talking about snack wraps from McDonald's. And I'm not talking about buffalo chicken wraps and shit. I'm talking about wraps with like fucking lunch meat. There's something about a lunch meat burrito that I fucking love with like lettuce, cucumbers, spinach, jalapenos, pickles, banana peppers, onions, mushrooms, olives. Put as much shit in there as possible. Wrap that shit up. Maybe that's why it's easier for me just to order them at places like Subway. Because if I want to make the wrap that I want, I'm having to get like fucking 20 different fucking vegetables. And then they just sit there and go bad if I don't use them. But it's basically, it's like a salad with some lunch meat and a fucking wrap. I don't know. I like them. Publix makes the fucking best ones. Publix makes the most amazing fucking wraps. They really fucking do. So I don't know why I even ordered from Subway. I should have went to Publix. Or just made it myself. That's what I should do. Because I've been like on this wrap kick lately. So like there was one week where I did buy all the stuff I wanted and I made wraps. I mean, I live alone. So when I want like wraps, if I'm in a kick for wraps, I got to get the shit. I live alone. So I better eat these fucking vegetables and shit, right? Like as soon as possible. So that means I'm eating wraps for like fucking days. If I'm on a burger kick, I'm eating burgers for days. If I'm on a steak and eggs kick, I'm eating steak and eggs for days. By the way, pay attention to my socials. Steak and egg week coming up, brother. Just got some steaks and eggs today. Eggs were on sale. So I said, let's do it. Ain't nothing wrong with protein. Pete says the sweet onion chicken teriyaki will always be 100. I just don't know if I can ever do it again. man. I really don't. I just need to start making my own wraps. But the Subway ones are so good. But the Publix ones are really good too. And you know, you go up to the Publix deli, you tell them what you want. And then they look at you like, you really want all that shit on that wrap? I'm like, yes. Cucumbers, pickles, onions, black olives, mayonnaise, mustard, fucking lettuce, spinach, tomatoes, like every fucking vegetable you have, put on that motherfucker, please. Please. Please do. I like the crunchy freshness of those vegetables. Let's go. Damien says, all my food poisoning has been McDonald's. Ugh. I've never had that happen to me with McDonald's. I've gotten food poisoning from Subway a bunch. There was one other time I got it. Wasn't too long ago. What the fuck did I eat? I don't even remember what I had eaten. Oh, that's a bad mistake. I should remember. It wasn't that long ago either. Was that Subway too? I don't remember what it was now. Fuck. Dynamite says there are better sandwich spots than Subway, just saying. Dynamite, you're right. There are better sandwich spots in my very own town. But I did it anyway. Because it was cheap and I don't know. I did it. I was like, I just want a wrap with some turkey breast, like some deli turkey meat, and a bunch of fucking ingredients. So yeah, I should have went to Publix. Publix, for instance. A fucking grocery store is better than Subway. Just saying. 90s Arcade Station, what is up? James, what is up, my man? Cal, no, Cantonese, I have not checked that out yet. Let me write that down so I can check it out. Your Vampirella Book Club, Episode 1. I'll have to check that out later this week. Still seeing these numbers. Right now, it's telling me R. Arriaga is number 1, Chocos is number 2, and Dynamite's number 3. Billy apparently is in here at number 4. I don't understand how they're doing this, but fuck it. Y'all see that, or is that just me? Choco says, I love to read all of my comics, and thanks to Sleepy Reader and Bueller, I know it's okay. Yeah, it is okay to read your comics. Dungeon Crawler says, Subway has no taste. You're right, man. You're right. I should not have eaten Subway. What's up, Thomas? Howdy yourself. Thomas says, Mobland, great show. I've never checked out Mobland. I don't watch a lot of shows. 90s Arcade wants to know, did you watch the latest Mission Impossible or talked about it already? No, I haven't yet. I was going to go watch it today. I still haven't seen Sinners either. And Sinners is still playing at my cinema. And Mission Impossible is out. But then I looked at the running time and I was like, Mission Impossible is almost 3 fucking hours long? What? I was like, what? Okay. So, no, I haven't. Here's my thing with Mission Impossible. I don't like the first one. I detest the second one. I don't really like the third one. But I love 4, 5, 6, and 7. So I'm definitely going to be watching Part 8, Final Reckoning. I do want to see it, but today I was like, you know what? I'm going to opt for Karate Kid. It's newer. Just came out this week. I could do a review and have time to fit it all in. So that's why I went with Karate Kid over Mission Impossible. So I have not watched it yet. But I really do want to. I really enjoyed Dead Reckoning, and I thought that Dead Reckoning had one of the better villains of the series. Because I always feel like the series, as good as I think it got in the second half of this franchise, I do think the weak point of all of these Mission Impossible films have been the villains, and I really liked the setup for Dead Reckoning. So I really want to see Final Reckoning. Fable says, I was shocked by how much I liked the Jaden Smith Karate Kid on the franchise review. So was I, brother. So was I. Hey, what's up, Kenneth? How you doing? Lost my place in the chat. Let me catch up. There it is. Artist formerly known as Jesse say, what is in the house? What is up? Entropy Comics is in the house. How you doing, my man? Billy Power Max is here. Station. Choco says, when Mr. Miyagi gets drunk and talks about his family being detained, pretty powerful moment. I love that moment that they recreated it a little bit in Community. I can't remember the name of the dude's name, the actor or the character, but there was that character who... Was that Community or was that Parks and Rec? That's Community. Right? Yeah, it's Community. But he redoes it as a one-man show or something. It's pretty good. Team Monkey Head is here. How you doing? Flailing up. I don't know what's going on. Isn't it an anthology with multiple team-ups? Oh, we're talking about... Are you talking about the Deadpool, Wolverine... Or Deadpool, Wolverine. Deadpool, Batman, Wolverine... Deadpool? Shit. There is like a main story and then there's backup stories. Like Kevin Smith's doing some stuff. Like there's some backup stories in there as well. But I think they're also a main story. But we'll see. Julian, you're the man. Station yourself. What's up, Ariaga? Choco says, talking about the Wolverine. Fuck, I keep saying Wolverine. The Batman Deadpool says, I'll check out both, but the Morrison Mora got me so excited. Dr. War God is in the house with the station. Our Ariaga wants a crown. Is that what they're... I don't know, man. I don't know how they award these fucking crowns. But a lot of y'all have 75 XP right now. I don't know what that means. I guess just keep commenting, see what happens. I wonder what happens if somebody throws a super chat. If that gets factored in. Joe says, want to hear your thoughts on Hickman's interview with Sketch. He said the reason Marvel releases so many books because DC couldn't till recently to help keep the market healthy. I'll have to read the interview or listen to it. I'm not familiar with that interview, I guess. The reason Marvel releases so many books, because DC couldn't till recently, is to help keep the market healthy. Less Marvel books with more people buying it would be healthier than more Marvel books with less people buying them, I think. But I don't know the context of that statement or the statement itself, so I have to look into that. But it seems to me that quality over quantity would be a bigger deal right now. William says, what happened? Marvel couldn't ask Rucka, Miller, or Claremont to write Deadpool Batman? I don't think Claremont's the writer for that, William. I don't. Mark Miller I know has a very particular Marvel project he wants to do that they're hesitant to do. And Greg Rucka, I don't think he's worked for Marvel for a long time at this point. I figure if Marvel would get anybody, who's Marvel's biggest writer right now? I mean, Jed McKay, I guess, but like, we're talking, you got a hot shot, right? So, I mean, Hickman's their biggest name right now. You could have gotten Hickman to do it, I guess, but I don't know. Hickman. Dennis is an up-and-comer, but Dennis Camp probably could have done it. But you need a name that people are going to recognize. Zeb Wells, I guess, is okay, but I think, like, right now, Hickman would be, like, the biggest Marvel writer, I think. Dr. War God says, do you see good things for the new Star Wars book? Are we talking about the new ongoing Star Wars series? I enjoyed the first issue enough, so we'll see what happens. But I do not typically stay very interested in Star Wars comic books. Right now we're getting to the part where everybody's telling Jelani happy birthday. R. Ariaga says, in my attempt to be interested in wrestling again, I ended up rewatching hours of old WWF and WCW matches. I don't care for the current WWE, but I definitely love the old stuff. That's one of the things that helped get me back into it, too, was I was watching my boy Clayton, who is a professional wrestler. I started watching him on his matches every other week. I enjoyed that. It kind of got me interested back in. I started rewatching WrestleManias. I've now gone through, I think, 24 WrestleManias. I just watch them here and there sometimes. Haven't watched one in like probably over a week. I don't watch them all in one sitting either. I just kind of like watch a match or two. I think one of the more recent ones I watched was the fucking one where like these two dudes were fighting on behalf of Donald Trump and Vince McMahon. And the loser had to get his head shaved. So Vince McMahon got his head shaved by Donald Trump. It's pretty fucking interesting, I guess. But yeah, I love watching the old stuff. And so now I'm in the ruthless aggression era of WWE WrestleManias. And I'm watching stuff I've never seen before. And it's getting me caught up. So that's pretty cool. Chokos has got to go, but he'll come back. Well, nice. I hope so, buddy. Wouldn't be the same without you. Sleepy Reader says, ooh, a drawing. That's exciting. Don't get too excited. I did that shit in like 30 seconds. So don't get too excited, buddy. I didn't do any underdrawing or nothing. I just fuck it. Let's try it. Sure, that looks decent. It's a small token of my appreciation for the love and support I've gotten you from years now. Damien, you're a super cool dude, man. What's up, Fuzzy? How you doing? Sending love from Scotland. All right. It's terrible. It's fuck. I should not even do that. Have you seen the Happy Gilmore 2 trailer? I'm getting Joe Dirt 2 vibes. I haven't seen the trailer yet. I saw that it released. I know that Netflix did their big thing or whatever the other day. But I did watch the Guillermo del Toro Frankenstein trailer with Oscar Isaac and Mia Goth. I'm so fucking excited for the Del Toro Frankenstein movie. I'm even more excited that Del Toro has a project that actually came to fruition and completion. So that's even better. But hell yeah. Thomas here saying, sometimes I get on the Jersey Mike's steak and cheese for a week. You know, we got Jersey Mike's here, but I don't know if I've ever actually had it. I might have to try one of those. Starscream's in the house. Evil Face Bad is in the house. Evil Face Bad says, Guinness and a bag of nachos, Doritos, excellent source of protein. I don't know about that, brother. It's an excellent source of munchies, but I don't know about protein, brother. Dungeon Crawler says, every time I've gotten food poisoning, it has been Chinese. Oh, man, that sucks. Dark Fizzo is in the house. What is up? Anthony wants to know, have you ever gotten into the X-Files? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I was super into the X-Files when it first released. I was a nut for the X-Files. And I would watch that shit. At first, I remember it being on Friday nights. And I would watch it on every Friday night that I wasn't at the skating rink. Because I loved going to the skating rink. And Friday nights was our skating rink night. Kind of got me ready for club life, right? So then I remember it being on Sunday nights. And I started watching it more frequently. I watched it as much as I could. And then I remember going on opening weekend to see X-Files Fight the Future, the movie. And loving that. And then shortly after that movie, I kind of fell out of it a little bit. I tried to get back to it at one point, and then Mulder got written out of the show. Robert Patrick was in there, and I just couldn't quite stay into it, and I fell out. So I've never watched every single episode. And then when they started releasing them on DVD, I remember having the first 2 seasons and trying to get through them, but I have found it hard to binge through X-Files. First of all, now I find it hard to binge through any show, but in those days, I found it hard to binge through that show. And I found it hard to binge through ER as well. X-Files and ER were 2 of my favorite shows as a preteen and a teen in the 90s. And I've always felt like going back and rewatching it. The problem with ER wasn't that it was a problem to binge. It was that every episode's sad as shit. Or every other episode tries to do a tear jerk moment. I was like, this is too much trauma for me, man. I can't fucking handle it. But X-Files would be something I'd love to try to get through all the way one day. Our Ariaga says for 400 million, 3 hours is not enough. 90 says, I watched Dead Reckoning the day before, so the final movie made sense to me. Yeah, that's probably something I would like to do too, is rewatch it, but I don't know if I'll have time. Two Gun Pedro is in the house, and we got a super chat from Dark Fizzo. We also got a super chat from R. Ariaga. Oh, thank you so much, buddy. For the crown. Has that helped out anybody? Well, R. Ariaga, you're number 2 now. But Fizzo, where are you? Oh, you're at 21. You got 50 XP. Our Ariaga's now at 75 XP. Most Dope Comics is at 150 EXP. That's interesting. I have no idea how this is working, y'all. But Dark Fizzo, our Ariaga, this is for y'all. Forgot that I left Hellboy out there from last time. That's fine. Hey, yo. Let me tell you about this little man I know. His name is Hellboy. He was sent to the earth some long time ago to save it or destroy. Brought to this earth by Rasputin, son of a demon and a nun who had a sex with a demon, but was raised by Professor Broom. And now he fights evil and monsters. Shit! Now he fights with a man who's a fish named Abe. Now he fights with a fire starter named Liz. And an ectoplasmic mess named Johan. BPRD. Thank you so much, Dark Fizzo and R. Ariaga. We really do appreciate the support. Thank you so much. Thank you all. We really do appreciate the support. It helps keep the lights on, literally. Appreciate it. So right now, R. Ariaga, you're at number 2. 62 Lefty Blues is at number 3. I don't know how this fucking shit works. A lot of people got 75 XP, though. I don't know what you got to do to get XP. I haven't seen this update yet. But Most Dope Comics. Is that Pete? Pete's got 150. Interesting. Anthony says, don't Hickman have a book dropping this week? Yes, really does. He has Imperial releasing this week. Marvel has a huge, giant week this week. 62 Lefty Blues is looking forward to Jay and Silent Bob meet Archie this summer. Me too. Dark Fizzo says Imperial is by Hickman. It comes out this week. Pete has not heard about Jay and Silent Bob meets Archie. It's true, and it is releasing. Fuzzy says the bigger issue for me is putting Deadpool with Batman. I just don't get it. I get it. DC, who's your biggest character? Batman. That's easy. Marvel, who's your biggest character? Spider-Man? Yep. They've done Spider-Man, Batman. So I don't know if it would have the same impact. But Deadpool's one of their biggest characters. It's huge. Characters made billions of dollars at the box office. ECW was the best. I never super got into ECW. I've mostly always been a WWF, WWE guy, but it's because I can't really focus on too much. But I'll tell you what, Jelani shared some old school Penta matches from Lucha Underground, and that shit was dope as fuck, y'all. Yeah, it does suck about R-Truth getting released. Jared says, being that you work in a comic shop, is there any excitement from customers for Bad Idea as it enters all comic shops? I haven't been hearing anything about it. I think more excitement was when they first came out, and then disappointment when my customers found out we weren't stocking Bad Idea books. But we didn't want to jump through all the fucking hoops to get them. But the last one, the Zero issue that was like $1.99 for what, Planet Death or whatever, did pretty freaking well. So we'll see what happens. Dr. Wargod says, WrestleMania 25, Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels is the best WrestleMania match ever. If I had to pick my favorite WrestleMania match ever, I mean, I don't know. I'd have to really think about it. But right now, out of everything I've seen, honestly, I don't want to sound like a chode like everybody else, but that Bret Hart Stone Cold match is pretty fucking dope. Evil Face Bad says, if Fantastic Four and Superman came out on the same day, which one are you seeing first? If they came out on the same day, Evil Face Bad, I would watch Fantastic Four first, but I'm more excited for Superman. That's why I would save Superman for the second part of the double feature. When I did the Barbenheimer thing, I watched Barbie first, then I watched Oppenheimer. I was more excited for Oppenheimer. I personally think Superman's going to be the better movie. It's the one that I'm more excited for, even though I am a lifelong Fantastic Four fan. I am also a lifelong Superman fan. So I'm really excited for both movies. I think I will enjoy both movies, or I hope I enjoy both movies. They're not releasing on the same day, so Superman is going to come first. But if they did release on the same day, I would watch Fantastic Four first, then I would watch Superman. And I would watch both on the same day. Monkeyhead says Superman. Pete says, I'm so excited for Superman. I love James Gunn's work in DC. Evil Face Bad, I have not seen the trailer for the Black Phone 2. I didn't really like the first Black Phone. I love the original short story by Joe Hill. My buddy Blake actually got me a short story collection from Joe Hill right before that movie came out. Has the Black Phone in it. I read it. I felt like they kind of stretched out too much in the movie, so I wasn't that excited for it, but I have not seen the trailer for the sequel. Evil Face Bad also says Superman. Joe says, if Marvel, DC, and Image were a wrestling show, which current creative teams would be the heavyweight, intercontinental, women's, and tag team champions? Well, the heavyweight champions would be Image Comics. The intercontinental champions would be DC. The women's champion... The women's champion would be Titan Comics. And the tag team champions would be Dynamite for their tag teaming up with their licensing partners. How about that? 90s Arcade said X-Files made me look forward for Fridays. Evil Face Bad says X-Files was an amazing show. One of the most creepiest episodes was when they found that family that was inbreeding and they kept the mother under the bed. I remember that one. Our Ariaga got a crown. 62 Lefty Blue says, I got through the first 4 seasons of the X-Files, and wow, this stuff is even more relevant now than ever. Dynamite says, my problem with X-Files was that it came out on Friday nights. I was out most Friday nights. Yeah, that was a problem for me too in the early days. I remember they eventually moved it to Sunday, though. Fuzzy says, it hasn't aged well, sadly. And the films were disappointing. I remember liking the first film enough, but the second film was kind of like, it felt like an elongated episode, kind of like Star Trek Insurrection or something. Pete, I don't know why you have 150, but you still do, and you're like in the lead. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the amount of commenting. I don't know. But Ariaga got up there with the number 2 with that super chat. So maybe super chats have something to do with it too. I don't know. Evil Face Bad says, you'd be surprised some of the older shows that are still the best. I still watch the original Twilight Zone to this very day. Love that show. Yeah, I just was watching a few episodes like a few months ago, and they were holding up. Fable says you should have 2000 EXP. You should have 2000 XP just cuz. Well, bruh, I don't think it works that way. I don't know how it works. I've never seen this shit before. Evil Face Bad says, what killed the X-Files for me was when Mulder and Scully had a sexual relationship. It didn't click with me at all. That they should have just left them as regular partners, not love interests. I agree with that. Evil Face Bad says the original ECW was on late night cable and Saturdays. It was amazing. Yeah, I never watched it. Lucas, what's up? Has anybody asked you your opinion about the R-Truth and Carlito releases yet? Yes. And it's sad. It's sad, especially for R-Truth. I think R-Truth is hilarious. When he came up and asked if whatever Mateo was like Solo's son, and he's husky. This shit was cracking me up. You should just keep him around for the bit. Same thing with Carlito. They're only around for the bit, so I get it, but it does suck. It sucks, because I think both of them are like the funniest parts of Raw and SmackDown, respectively. I love that so many people ask me about wrestling now. You know, Mike, the voice Matthews, was trying to get me to do wrestling content years ago here on the channel. I was like, bro, I'm not doing wrestling content. And I still am not. Like, we'll talk about it here in Rockin Robbie Live. We'll talk about whatever I'm into. But we did do that WrestleMania show. We're probably going to do a SummerSlam show as well. Joe says, Bat in the Sun already did a Batman Deadpool crossover. Fable says, has to be Brett Stone Cold for his favorite WrestleMania match. It's the obvious one, right? But it's a really good one. Top 5 bands of all time, rock or metal, or WE. WE. What's WE? What's WE stand for? Top 5 bands of all time: Oasis, Blur, The Cure, The Clash, 311. It's easy. War God says Bret Hart versus Stone Cold is an overrated brawl to me, believe it or not. Fuzzy says, yep, WrestleMania 13. 62 says, watch The Wolf of Snowy Hollow. Nice twist on the story. Oh, I've never even heard of that one. Is Joe Hill writing any more comics? Not that I'm aware of. Talking about the Stone Cold Bret Hart match, Fable says it may or may not be the best match, but its significance changed everything. Pretty much kind of kicked off the Attitude Era, didn't it? Chocos is back. Dungeon Crawler Carl says, Twilight Zone is my favorite show ever. Bad Wolf 15 is here. Always happy to find and sub and support new creators. Well, hell yeah. Go check out Pete. Ariaga says, my favorite WrestleMania matches are either Shawn Michaels versus Razor Ramon. I believe it was the first ladder match. Or the Iron Man match between Shawn and Bret. Ariaga, I respect you. I don't like that Iron Man match. That fucking hour-long match. It's so boring to me. It's so boring to me. I just don't like it. But you did help me remember something. How about the second table, ladders, and chairs match between Edge, Christian, Dudley Boys, and the Hardy Boys? That shit was awesome. That shit was awesome. The one where Jeff Hardy does the giant swan song, and oh my God, it's ridiculously awesome. Or swan, what is it called? The Swan Bomb? Is that what it's called? Bad Wolf says, I just left alive. I'm a mod on a music channel because they were talking wrestling. Lucas would 100% watch wrestling content on here. Well, there's plenty of others that do that really well, so. But we'll talk about it here sometimes. Joe says the TLC match at WrestleMania 17 is perfect. Yes, that one. Ren Gill, most all-around talented musician of our and our parents' generation. Who the fuck is Ren Gill? I have no idea who this guy is. No clue. I have to check it out. The crowns were here on the month-end show and seem to be connected to how much a person comments, says 62. Oh, I didn't see him on StreamYard then. It's something I can only see here on YouTube itself. Swanton Bomb. Thank you, Bad Wolf. Thank you. Yeah, the Dudley Boys were awesome in ECW. I did watch some of their matches. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, it's time for the DC Sneak Peek. We'll talk about Karate Kid Legends. And we even got DC in the 2000s coming up here on Rockin Robbie Live.
When I was a kid, we moved in right next to the neighborhood, and we walked there, like, literally I was like 11 or maybe younger than 11.
All right, we are on our way to the next place.
Yeah.
Do we see him?
I think it's going to be slowing down, maybe left.
That's not nope, that's not him.
Damn it. God, yeah, and it was one of those ones that, you know, it's like fucking loud.
Little bastards. And we go down there and it's pitch black and there's no lights at all. Just this big alcove, and above there are like trees and like high areas back there that you can walk up to if you know how to get there.
Oh, it wasn't responding the way it was the last time.
Yeah.
Oh no, they hated it this time.
Yeah. But that's the thing, it's experimentation. Trying out. Like,
I'm not judging you, brother, right?
It's like
It was just weird when you were like, hold up.
Close Encounters.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I'm terrified of all ghost stuff, even though I don't believe in anything. But we're walking around and we hear loud as day. We hear, ah! Just one loud, piercing scream from the trees, and I immediately was like, I wanna go. Can we go?
Trying to do the photo shoot today. No Robbie, no Blake. May not happen. We'll see. Base story of the house here. That'll be the last one on it. Found an orange ball after that orange orb encounter.
Say that again. I wasn't recording. I'm so serious.
Are you serious?
I'm so serious, y'all.
Are you really?
I am now. I'm so serious.
Were you recording any of it?
No, none of that.
I told the orange ball sigil story.
He did.
I know you did, and I told you. I'm so sorry I didn't film any of that.
How do we feel about what happened?
I don't want to go home tonight.
Let me know. You want to
Yeah, let me see.
where should
What
we
do I
put your
want?
shot?
In the background.
Try not to get a customer here. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Come up to like Trevor, like right up in this little section right here.
Hey man, just get you. What's up, everybody? Welcome back here to Rockin Robbie Live on Pop Culture Philosophers. I am your host, Rockin Robbie Billups. We've had a great show already. We talked a lot about some comics, movies, pop culture, and a whole lot more. We're about to get into the DC sneak peek. We're about to get into the Karate Kid Legends spoiler-free movie review. And we're even going to dive back into the 2000s with DC in the oddies. All that and more coming up here on Rockin Robbie Live. Of course, though, this show is driven, fueled, if you will, by your questions, your thoughts, and your comments, and your concerns. And we do got this new thing, the leaderboard. Chocos 26 is number 1. Most Dope Comics is number 2. And R. Arriaga is number 3. If you want to raise up in the rankings, I guess you got to comment more, participate more. Maybe Super Chats help. That seems to have boosted our Arriaga up a little bit. I don't know. But if you want to help support the channel, you can do so with Super Chat, or you can do so at patreon.com/PCP, like these fine PCP patrons right there. Or you can help actively support the journey to HeroesCon 2025 by sending direct donations to my PayPal or my Cash App. That has been pinned at the top of the chat. It is also down in the description below. That's if you want to help support. You don't have to. The support we need is a like, a share, a subscribe, and participating in the conversation. You should also follow Pop Culture Philosophers on Facebook and on Instagram. If you're on Facebook, join the PCP Army. That's the official Pop Culture Philosophers Facebook group. And right now, live is our 2025 Action Fest Van Damme poll. Right now, it seems to be neck and neck between No Retreat, No Surrender, and Hard Target. Go to the PCP Army. Check out that poll pinned towards the top of the channel or of the group and vote. Let your voice be heard. All right, PCP movie night tomorrow night. We're in Crew's Choice. It's Joe Corallo's pick. We're talking about Children of Paradise. That'll be tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Central Time. We now pause for station identification. Let me see those stations out there in the chat. Fucking Fable just stole our Ariaga's crown. How dare you? How dare you? Fable says, you'll always be a king to me, R. Ariaga. R says, those TLC matches are super high risk, and the Hardys have been the best I've seen in those. Yeah, they're pretty great. Hey, Brother Joe, what is up? Now Fable's number 2. Yep, you're number 2 now. Stepping up in the community leaderboard. We got 3 people with 150 XP right now. Choco's, Fable, and Most Dope Comics. Bunch of people with 75. It's interesting. R. Ariaga says, lost the crown to King Fable. Man, you never know. You never know. Hell yeah. Fable wants to know, dude, how did you watch Children of Paradise? I rented it on Amazon. I went to Amazon and rented it for like $3.59 or some shit like that. That's what I did, brother. I'm going to tell you this too, Fable. It is over 3 hours long, but it is conveniently set up to be 2 parts. So you could watch it over 2 nights if you really wanted to. I watched it all in one night and I rather enjoyed it, but I had to rent it from Amazon. That's how I watched it. 9-Panel Grid says he could use some more XP. Yeah, you definitely could. No, I never got into UFC, Anthony. If I'm out there watching it with my friends, I can keep up with it, but I've never been something that like super appeals to me. Same with boxing. No. Nine Panel Grid says, I think number 2 and number 1 should wrestle for dominance in a no-holds-barred cage match. Maybe. Just maybe. Pete says he condones that. Metal Elf Collectibles is here. What is up, my man? How you doing? Hell yeah. All right. Robbie's going to do me like R-Truth and release me. Fable's going to be announcing tomorrow on IG, I've been released from the PCP Excitable crew. Ouroboros says, I feel bad. I'm enjoying Hush 2. Kind of. It's big dumb fun. Don't feel bad for enjoying it. I feel bad that I'm shitting all over a book you're enjoying. Don't feel bad for enjoying anything. Right? For the most part. Unless you're enjoying, like, you know, killing people or something heinous like that. Like, but yeah, if you're just, yeah, don't feel bad for enjoying Hush 2. I'm envious of you, my friend. Good to see that you're well, Metal Elf. '90s Arcade says, first time I saw the 13th Floor movie the other night was in Discord. Was decent, but there was no way I could have watched it back then, considering it came out the same year as The Matrix. I remember watching 13th Floor, but I don't remember fucking anything about it. Got swallowed up. Now we got Anthony Davis at number 2 in the Crowns. Look at that. Pete says, I just bought the Akira Special Edition on DVD yesterday. I'm excited to dive into that extra disc. Hell yeah. Yep, you're out, Pete. Year of the Heel. Yeah, we're having fun. We got at least one more good solid month of the Year of the Heel. Here's a little bit of a secret I'm going to let you in on. The Year of the Heel is not going to be an entire year. There is a face turn planned, but when and where does it happen, and how does it happen? These plans have been... We're long-term planning here at PCP. All right. Let's get this set up. Choco says, I just bought Transformers 1986. It should be here on Wednesday. Hell yeah. Brother Joe says, Fable doesn't worry. AEW is always looking for old talent. Fable says, oh damn, Brother Joe just turned heel on me. Yeah, he did. It is the year of the heel. Now I wish I would have brought that fucking... I was going to smoke some on the stream tonight, but I didn't bring it with me. I mean, I got my vape, but... Metal Elf says, Robbie sold me on finishing reading the manga. Talking about Akira. Always wondered why the movie never made sense fully, even with many viewings. Yeah, the manga really fleshes a lot of that shit out, doesn't it? The manga is the superior form of Akira, in my opinion. But I do think Akira is one of the greatest animated films of all time. That's what I would say, for sure. Chokos is holding on to that number 1 spot. Fable's holding on to number 3. I like this. We might have to start developing some kind of game with this. Like a free comic to whoever wins or some shit. Yeah, 24 frames per second, brother. That's more than Miyazaki. I have heard of Gantz, Anthony. It sells well for us at the shop when we have it in, but I've never read it before. Brother Joe says, just call me the Mexican werewolf and I'll slobber on you. Well, Brother Joe, I'll never call you that then. Yeah, clean your beard. Chokos is reading Uzumaki, the Junji Ito book. I've never read that one. I went through a Junji Ito kick. Did a couple videos, actually, on the channel going through some of his stuff. But I've never read Uzumaki, Tomei. Never read Geo. Never read some of his bigger ones. I read, like, Censor. What's the one called? It starts with R. Remina or something, Ramina, something like that. And I read Drifting Classroom. Not Drifting Classroom, Dissolving Classroom. Yeah, Drifting Classroom is a different one. That's a good one, too. Dark Fizzo says, I haven't rewatched Akira yet, but I did rewatch Mononoke. So good. Yeah, it really is. It holds up. It really, really does. Hell yeah. All right. Now, I was a little bit confused when I first watched Akira too. And then when I read the manga all the way through, I was just like, why does it feel like the movie's like a third of this entire story? And then you come to find out this is because he wasn't done with the manga. And I think Otomo was never super pleased with the Akira movie. The manga is way more developed. All right. We got a new comic book day this week. Believe it or not, DC's got books out. I've read them, what I wanted to read. Now it's time for your DC Sneak Peek. I did not change the DC Sneak Peek image. Let me do that real quick. All right, let's try this again. DC's got books out this week, believe it or not. I've read them, and now it's time for your DC sneak peek. All right, that was better. All right, first up, we got Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong, Volume 2, Issue number 1. The first volume of this was a super smash hit. Sold incredibly well. Of course, it should be no surprise. It's the Justice League, Godzilla, and King Kong, right? So the first volume of this was actually pretty fun, and the exact same team come back to do Volume 2, and it picks up right where the last one left off, right? The Justice League have defeated the Titans with the help of Godzilla and Kong, and now you've got Task Force X involved, Amanda Waller trying to utilize her own plan to control the Titans or do something interesting. I don't want to spoil anything, but I will say this. Part of what happens in this issue is King Shark becoming a kaiju. And that was pretty fucking awesome. So this is a book that's not going to stretch the medium further. It's not doing things that hasn't been done before in comic book fandom. But it is just a good, solid, fun comic. And all of the members of the Justice League, all of the members of the Legion of Doom, all of the members of the Suicide Squad all act within character, and they all feel like they fit in the world of Godzilla, Kong, and the rest of the Titans. So if you're a fan, I definitely recommend picking up book 2. All right, then we've got Absolute Green Lantern issue number 3. 3 issues in, Al Ewing is still keeping me interested in his take in the Absolute version of Green Lantern. So Joe is Green Lantern here, and Hal is Black Hand. And they're developing that, but there's an interesting structure to this story where Al Ewing is telling us a little bit about the past when this Abensur entity shows up in, I believe, Coast City. And then we're seeing what's happening in real time in the present, and Hal seems evil. Joe is the Green Lantern. What's going on there? It still hasn't clarified everything, but it is playing with some of the ideas in a very engaging kind of way. The one thing I don't like about this book, though, is I think it has the weakest art of all of the Absolute books so far. Janoy Lindsay does the art, and it's like this, got this manga kind of feel to it, and it's dynamic when it needs to be, but there's just something about the line work that feels a little bit stiff, a little bit rushed, and doesn't quite appeal to me in a visual sense. But Absolute Green Lantern story-wise, 3 issues in, is still rather intriguing. Then we get Absolute Superman out this week with issue number 8. A new story arc begins here. So we have Rafa Sandoval back on the artwork. He is a welcome re-edition to this book. Rafa Sandoval's artwork is a big part of why this book works so much for me. But you deal with Superman revisiting Smallville here, and the Absolute version of Lois and Jimmy Olsen are trying to get Superman to realize that they want to help him now. And both Jimmy and Lois represent 2 different factions. Jimmy represents the Omega Men. You get a little bit of tease into what that exactly means. And Lois is part of the Lazarus Corporation, and you get a full-on look at the leader of the Lazarus Corporation. It's been revealed in the book, but I don't want to spoil it if you're not reading it. But Absolute Superman's been strengthening for me, and I'm really now enjoying this take on Superman, which is vastly different than what we're typically used to. I like the artwork, I like the new iterations of these characters, and I'm liking this story. Then we got Poison Ivy, issue number 34. Poison Ivy is one of DC's best, most consistent, ongoing, mainstreamy, superhero-y type books. G. Willow Wilson has been doing such a great job with the character Pamela Isley, with all of the characters surrounding Pamela Isley, including Killer Croc, all these flower people, this eco-terrorist group that's kind of sprung up around her, and the character of Janet from HR. what a cool book this has been. So Pamela has been found by the Gotham City PD, and they're coming after her. And now Janet and the rest have to get as many helpers to help Pamela out of this situation as possible. I think Takara's artwork has been amazing in this book. I think these characters that didn't seem like they would really matter or fit too well together really, really do work here in the pages of Poison Ivy. I love the artwork. I love the costume. I love the power set. I love the characterization. It's crazy because I go back and I relook or I rethink about my initial thoughts on the Poison Ivy book, and I said, it's hard to straddle that line between hero and villain. I don't know if this book's going to do it. It does it exceptionally well, and it's become one of DC's most consistently fun and exciting ongoing comics. Then we got Justice League The Atom Project, issue number 6, a decent enough ending to what's been a decent enough series. This book has dealt with the two Atoms, Ray Palmer and Ryan Choi, trying to figure out where all the heroes' powers, their missing powers post-absolute power, went, and how Captain Atom, with his newfound ability, it seems, to absorb powers and then give them to other people, how does that tie in? It ties into the Inferno, Legion of Doom stuff, and it does that fine. And this was a solid enough conclusion. It was decent. Overall, it wasn't essential to your understanding of the All-In era. It didn't figure out that much. But it did enough. It did enough to, I just love that Captain Atom and the Atoms were used in a pretty excellent way. And Mike Perkins' artwork was cool. Ryan Parrott, John Ridley did the scripting, and they worked really well together. It was hard to figure out who did what, and that means it was a pretty solid collaboration. So all in all, that was a decent book. Then we got JSA number 8. Loved this issue. First of all, you got Gavin Guidry on the artwork, and that's exceptional. I think that one of the problems with Jeff Lemire's JSA run has been the art. The art has felt a little clunky, a little rushed, and the story felt like the end of a big run instead of the beginning of a run. But since they've kind of finished that first initial arc, I really feel like we've settled in to a book that, because they have elevated the threat so much just in the first arc, it truly feels epic in scale and dire in scope, if that makes sense. Gavin Guidry's clean line work works better for this story. We get a little bit of a glimpse into the past to set up the current threat. It was a really solid issue of JSA, one of the best ones yet. I feel like this book has gotten better since the first arc. Then we got Batgirl issue number 8. What we're doing here is we're continuing the story of Lady Shiva. Lady Shiva is Cassandra Cain's mother, and she has left a diary of sorts for Cassandra to read to tell the story of Lady Shiva, her origins, where she came from, how she became Lady Shiva. And in this issue in particular, we come to the moment where she meets David Cain, who is Cassandra's father, we know. And man, what a first meeting. And it is crazy. I'm really liking this book. I think the art here has been solid in this current arc. This artist has been Isaac Goodhart, and Tate Bromball is doing a really great job of just telling the story. I've always been very fascinated by the character of Lady Shiva. Cassandra Cain's Batgirl's been my favorite Batgirl of all time, and it's cool to see a book focused back on her, but at the same time revealing essential bits and moments from the history of Lady Shiva. And I think it is David Cain, right? All right, and then we got some facsimile shiny foil covers here, including Action Comics 775. This is a great issue written by Joe Kelly with artwork by Doug Mahnke, right? Yeah. We covered this on a DC in the 2000s. I would highly recommend this book. The original one is a little bit pricey. It's like a $20 book, I think. So if you missed out, you can pick this one up this week. We covered it here on Rockin Robbie Live. It will eventually be clipped out and shared with everybody, but this is one of the greatest single-issue Superman comics of the last 25 years. So you should check it out. Then we've got Batman 618, continuing the facsimile reprints of the Hush comics. I've never been the biggest fan of Hush, but we've been going through Hush issue by issue here on Rockin Robbie Live. We'll get back to that later on. So to recap, Justice League Godzilla Kong Volume 2, number 1, kicks off fine, kicks off fun, and that's all we really need that book to do. Absolute Green Lantern is still engaging me with the story and the concept, but the art I find a little bit lacking. Absolute Superman has Sandoval come back to the artwork. It brings that explosive, boisterous nature back to the book, and it gets back into the story of Superman, Lois, and now Jimmy Olsen. Really cool stuff there. Poison Ivy continues to be one of DC's best and most consistent ongoing titles. Justice League The Atom Project ends in a satisfactory way, but it doesn't really feel like this whole book was necessarily super essential, but it did get the job done. JSA, issue number 8, this book's been getting better and better since the conclusion of arc number 1. Batgirl number 8 continues the backstory of Lady Shiva in a very excellent fashion. Action Comics 775 is available in facsimile form this week. This is one of the best Superman comics, period. It's definitely top 20 Superman single issues. Check it out if you never did. And then we got Batman 618 Hush, part whatever the hell, facsimile edition. And that has been your DC Sneak Peek. All right, that was fun, wasn't it? Did y'all have fun with that? I have fun. Take a look at the chat. All right. Oh, Shokos is still number 1. Shokos is still number 1. Fable's still number 3. Anthony, you're number 2. Interesting stuff. Let me make sure I set up the right slides for Karate Kid. All right, I did, it looks like. Cool. Just had to double check on that. Because I didn't do the DC one. Whoa, King Shark Kaiju. Yeah, let me show you. Do y'all want to see it? You want to see the King Shark Kaiju? If you don't want to see it, slight spoilers here. Pretty fucking dope, actually. Pretty dope. Beast Boy Titan needs to happen. It might happen. Dark Fizzo says, hell yes, hoping Justice League versus Godzilla Kong is good. We got Dr. Doom Fan Club in the house. Station Gang, Station Robbie. How's everybody doing tonight? Doing good, brother, and nice to see you here. We missed you on Thursday night, man, but I hope you had fun at the baseball game. Everybody's saying hello to each other. Ouroboros says Captain Atom deserves his own book, maybe with the other Charlton characters. That'd be cool. That'd be really cool. I do think he deserves his own book, but I don't know how long they'd give it. Batgirl should be about Batgirl, not Lady Shiva. But Dynamite, the first arc was definitely about Batgirl and her coming to... Lady Shiva is her mother. So the first story arc dealt with Lady Shiva coming back into Cassandra's life. And because of the results of that first arc, this diary was left behind. And this diary of Cassandra reading and exploring for the first time the past of her mother is setting up the future stories. So I think it does work. And just like, yeah, Buffy the Vampire Slayer should be about Buffy. But it's also about Willow. It's also about Xander. It's also about Buffy's mom, Buffy's sister, Giles, Spike, Angel. It's about these other characters too. So I do like the focus in on Shiva because it's not necessarily a Shiva book. This is something that is informing the story of Batgirl. So I disagree with you on that one. Oh, thank you so much, Damien. It might have been in the preview pages, Easy Reader. I don't know. Oh, you're welcome, Metal Elf. Ouroboros says, any new fans come into the store due to Marvel Rivals? It definitely got me more involved with Marvel. I'm hearing it's working. I'm not on the floor anymore, so I don't know, but I know that I've sold out of all the Marvel Rivals covers. I've sold out of the Marvel Rivals books. I've sold out of the reprints. I know that Magic is selling way more than I thought it would be, and as people are telling me it's because of Marvel Rivals. Jeff the Landshark can't keep in stock anymore. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. No Concept is loving the new Batgirl series. Me too. I really am. And with how quick they've gotten through the Lady Shiva story in just 2 issues so far, I feel like this is just a 3-issue arc. But it's definitely setting up the next moment for Cassandra, and that gets revealed at the end here. And it's pretty cool stuff. And you're going to have some martial arts favorite DC characters show up. Let's say that. Yeah, I'll say that. All right. I got to pee again. But I do want to go ahead and get into this Karate Kid review. All right, we're going to get into the Karate Kid review. Let me record because I want to clip this out. You guys notice I've been clipping out more of the Image in the 90s and stuff. We're going through the Youngblood run. I hope you're enjoying that. You know, part of that is I love doing the Marvel in the 90s, Image in the 90s, DC in the 90s. I love doing these segments here. But yeah, they get lost. Like, who goes back and watches an old school Rockin Robbie live to try to find where all the Marvel in the 90s bits are and shit? So yeah, it's like clipping them out for you guys, right? So I hope you're enjoying that because I want to get caught up on that. Easy Reader wants to know, what is Imperial supposed to be about? I just know it's Hickman kind of playing around and reshifting the focus back to cosmic Marvel. I know with Gods, it was like cosmological type stuff, but this is more like cosmic stuff, like maybe the Shi'ar and shit like that. So issue 1's out this week. We'll see what happens. All right, we're going to do this review, and we'll take a quick break, and then we'll be wrapping up with DC in the 2000s and show and tell. Whatever happened to his Marvel vs. Aliens or whatever it was, still coming out, 1 issue to go. You have Assad Ribic on that one, so yeah. But it's been fun. It's been good. I've liked it. Ouroboros said, I went back and rewatched every weekly comic book review that I missed for the year, and it was quite rewarding. I could see the same for Rockin Robbie Live. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I hope it is. And we could use some of the views on some of those old ones. But at the same time, I hope you don't mind if I clip out, Marvel in the 90s. I even got a list. So, let me see if I can find the list. So, here's what's to come. So, I have a list up to a point of all the ones that we did. And I'm going through that list. I'm clipping them out. They drop every Thursday mornings right now. I feel like I've passed it already. Oh, I need to tag this page. This is entertaining, isn't it? Where the hell is it? Oh, shit. Where the hell is it? I know it's in this section. Well, I just need to pull this page out too then I can just access it whenever I want. Anyway, coming up next, we just did Youngblood 4, I guess. So, Now we're going to move into a Marvel in the 90s, which is next, where we do the Tombstone story, post-Maximum Carnage. Where the hell is it? Then we get back to Youngblood. Shit, I can't find it right now, y'all. I don't want to waste too much more time. All right, fuck it. All right, well, we got more Youngblood and some Spider-Man stuff coming up, so there you go. Gods, didn't get why it just wasn't Steven. It wasn't cut short. Maybe I would have eventually found out if it wasn't cut short. Gods was something I didn't like until I read it all in one. And then I liked it. Chokos wants me to shout out his wife Mary and her cousin Carol. Carol? Well, Mary can always get a shout out to me because Mary has always been nothing but kind to me. Same thing with you, Chokos. And Mary's cousin, Carol. If Chokos left out the L. Love y'all. Thank you so much for being here. And Chokos, thank you so much for the super chat. Really do appreciate that, y'all. Let's break out that Hellboy song. Let me tell you about this little man I know. His name is Hellboy. He was sent to the earth some long time ago to save it or destroy. Brought to this earth by Rasputin, son of a demon and a nana who had a sex with the demon, but was raised by Professor Broom. And now he fights evil and monsters. Shit! Now he fights with the man who's a fish named Abe. Now he fights with a fire starter named Liz. And an ectoplasmic mess named Johan. PPRD. Mary, Caro, shout out. Love ya. Have a good one. Chokos, thank you so much for the love. We really do appreciate it around here. Helps us out like crazy. Metal Elf says, I saw the Youngblood 4 video recently. Well, hell yeah, I'm glad you noticed it. Ouroboros says, please do, and make it a series. Love the old comics. Jeff Matsuda ended up doing the Batman animated cartoon during the 2000s, I found out. Love that connection. Yeah, I really like that series. I have the whole thing on DVD. I do. Caro. Thank you, Metal Elf. I got the pipes. I appreciate that. All right. Just going to get into this now. All right, y'all. Today was one of those days where I woke up, smoked a bowl, and watched a movie. I went to my local cinema, and I checked out Karate Kid Legends. Let's talk about it in a non-spoilery way. So Karate Kid Legends, I went to see it in the theater today because it just released this week and it was something that I was curious about. Now, of course, I'm a huge fan of the Karate Kid series. Love the original movie. I really love part 2. And part 3, I have learned to appreciate more because of the elaboration given upon it from the series Cobra Kai. Next, Karate Kid. Still don't like that one. Just recently watched the Jackie Chan Karate Kid for the first time and rather enjoyed that. We actually talked about all of the Karate Kid movies at the very beginning of the year on PCP Movie Night. So if you missed that, definitely check it out. I'll throw a link into the description below if you're watching this on the replay. So Karate Kid Legends. It just released, and I was very curious about this movie when it first got announced because it was going to be a follow-up of sorts to Cobra Kai. Now, Cobra Kai has come and gone. It is done with its 6-run season, and Cobra Kai is one of my favorite shows of the last 20 years. It's not the best show. It is melodramatic. It is crazy. It is nutso. It is ridiculous and cheesy, but I absolutely love it. Karate Kid Legends kind of feels the same way. So we got a new Karate Kid in this movie, but just kind of like Will Smith's son in the last Karate Kid movie, it should be called more the Kung Fu Kid. But at least in this movie, they kind of get a little back into the connection to Miyagi-Do, right? So I do appreciate that. This movie's got a pretty solid cast, but the main actor is Ben Wong as Li Fong, a young Chinese boy mentored by his great uncle, Mr. Han. So Mr. Han, of course, was Jackie Chan's character in that last Karate Kid movie with Will Smith's son. Is it Jalen Smith, I believe? Something like that. But one of the big points of this one is it's not just a follow-up to that movie, but it's combining that movie into the world of the original Karate Kid and the Cobra Kai series, because we also now have Ralph Macchio appearing as Daniel LaRusso, working in tandem with Mr. Han to teach this new character, Lee. And it works for the most part when they show up. But I'll be honest with you, they don't show up for a while. Jackie Chan shows up towards the beginning, but then he's gone for a moment because this book, or this movie, I should say, is about the character of Lee, who is in Beijing and studying with Mr. Han at his Kung Fu school. He, because of his mom finds a new job, they move to New York. So the original Karate Kid was the Karate Kid moving from Jersey to LA, right? And then you had in the new Karate Kid movie about a kid from America moving to China. Now you have a kid from China moving to the States. And you kind of hit some of the same beats, right? He shows up, he gets bullied by the local badass karate tournament champion from the local dojo who's badass, and they gotta square off at a karate tournament for the love of a woman or some shit like that, right? And of course you have Mr. Han and Daniel LaRusso teaching Miyagi-Do, the two branches, one tree, right? And this was something set up in Karate Kid 2, that the Miyagi family learned Kung Fu and then brought it back and taught their own form of karate in Japan and Okinawa, right? And the cast is actually pretty cool. One of the biggest surprises to me is that Joshua Jackson is in this movie. I did not see that in any of the trailers, didn't realize it. So the love interest of our main character Lee here, who is, I don't know, Mia, yes, Sadie Stanley. I'm not familiar with her work, but she's an interesting character and a good love interest here. But her and her dad run a pizza place. Her dad, Joshua Jackson, is a former boxer who owes these bad people some money, and so he's trying to pay off this money by getting back into the ring. So he gets the kid. The basic idea is that this new Karate Kid is not supposed to practice Kung Fu because he has this brother who passed away due to a violent situation. His mom has forbade him to practice Kung Fu and martial arts and to get violent. But he has to teach Joshua Jackson some of these tricks so that he can make it through the boxing match. And then some things happen and he has to enter this tournament to get the money up for this dude's to help pay him off his debt to this like mafioso guy or whatever. And to be honest, the fighting is pretty freaking good. This version of the Karate Kid does way more than Daniel LaRusso did back in the day. However, it doesn't feel supremely important for Daniel LaRusso to be in this movie. It feels more like a follow-up to that last Karate Kid movie, which was pretty good. So it was great seeing Mr. Han back, and Jackie Chan plays that character rather brilliantly. But the core piece of every Karate Kid movie to me is the mentor-mentee relationship. In the original Karate Kid trilogy, it was that connection between Mr. Miyagi and Daniel. In Next Karate Kid, they tried to do that. It didn't work. In the Karate Kid remake, which is now not necessarily a remake because it's part of the world, right? And I do love how they're tying this in. This would have worked better for me if this was integrated into the final season of Cobra Kai. And it comes across as Disney, right? Like Disney Channel kind of production values. It comes across as very cheesy. But honestly, it's not annoying. It's not bad. It's not spectacular. It's not the original movie. And in fact, I would say it's not as good as 1, not as good as 2, probably on par with 3, if not a little bit better. Definitely better than Next Karate Kid, and under the Jackie Chan Karate Kid. It works more, like I said, as a follow-up of that one. But the mentor-student relationship, the sensei-student relationship is kind of gone because Mr. Han is barely in the movie. The movie goes through this whole giant chunk. And it's interesting because you got this Joshua Jackson character, and I was rather engaged in that story. And unlike some of the other Karate Kid movies, it does try to invert or subvert or do something a little bit different. So it's not just about a kid going to a new place and getting bullied and has to rise against the bully. There's a little bit more to it than that. So I like and really appreciate the more they put into it. But this movie is a good, like, clean hour and like 35 minutes or something like that. It gets in and it gets out. It does maybe drag down just a little bit, maybe towards the end of Act 2, beginning of Act 3. Maybe it drags a little bit in its pace, but then it kicks it back up because then it brings Mr. Han back into the story, and they bring Daniel into the story. You don't get a lot of Daniel, and you don't get a lot of the build-up between this new student, played by Ben Wong, playing Li Fong. So Lee is an interesting character, but we don't really develop him enough. We develop a lot more of his world and his relationships, so the characters really do work for me in this story, but it doesn't quite hit everything. And I'm not saying this movie needed some more time, but maybe it could have rearranged some things in Act 1 to have Mr. Han be in there a little bit earlier, and at the same time build up Daniel LaRusso's importance into this story, because at this point, it feels like he's just put in there for facial recognition and, like I said, to tie the two stories together. And I do love that they've tied the two stories together. Two branches, one tree, kung fu, karate. It's all in the Miyagi family bloodline. Joshua Jackson, to me, is a standout in this movie. The mom in this movie is played by what's her name from she was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Ming-Na Wen as Dr. Fong, who is also Mr. Han's niece. So I overall like the cast. I would like to see this more explored, and I really like the fighting. Like I said, this is a different Karate Kid than we've seen. This is one of the most skilled Karate Kids from the get-go in any of these movies. There's a moment where Daniel LaRusso shows up because, you can't just learn karate in 1 week. And then he's like, well, watch this. And he's like, okay, well, maybe in 1 week we can. But Daniel's involvement doesn't feel uber important. It really doesn't. If you've not finished Cobra Kai, this isn't going to spoil anything about Cobra Kai for you. It doesn't feel even like it's really truly following up Cobra Kai. Like I said, it feels more like a follow-up to the Jackie Chan movie. And I liked it, but I would have liked Jackie Chan in there a little bit more. I want to see, because even the Jalen Smith, whatever his name is, even that last Karate Kid movie, I was buying that sensei-student relationship. And that was the core of the heart of the original one with Mr. Miyagi and Daniel. That is lost here a little bit. Just a little bit. It is a little cheesy. Feels a little Disney Channel. It feels a little this and that. But all in all, it was fine. It didn't overstay its welcome. It got in. It got out. It had some great fighting. It's got an interesting way when they do the tournament at the end. It's got some like video gamey ways that they're like showing the tournament and the point system. And that was decent and that was fine. But I didn't feel like I wasted my morning at the movie theater today. I enjoyed watching it. It's not the best Karate Kid movie, but it's definitely not the worst by far. It was enjoyable. It was okay, but this story would have been suited better to be integrated into the end of Cobra Kai, I feel, to really bring it all together. That being said, at the end, there is a nice treat for fans of Cobra Kai and in particular. And so that was pretty freaking nice. So I liked it. So overall, did I find the movie disappointing? No. I didn't find it disappointing because I wasn't expecting too much out of this movie. I love Cobra Kai, but I will be the first to tell you that it is a melodramatic, cheesy fucking product, right? It really is. This one falls in that vein, like I said, a little Disney Channel-y at times, and it really could have focused more on the student-sensei relationship, especially with the two different senseis and the two different styles. They play with it. They play it for humor, but it's mostly kind of all forced in the third act of the picture. So that kind of took away from some of my enjoyment. I kept waiting for Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio to show up in the movie, and it kind of distracted me a little bit from my enjoyment of the first half of the film. I do like the new kid. I think his skill set is amazing. I enjoyed the entire cast. I was really, really impressed with Joshua Jackson in this movie, and I came out of this movie really wanting to eat some pizza because the pizzas in this movie look pretty freaking good. But it does make some weird jumps in logic, especially involving getting Daniel to New York to help out. A lot of it's a little unclear, and they don't really focus a lot on what makes Karate Kid so important and what made Cobra Kai important. Cobra Kai hit so well in those early seasons because of the relationship of Miguel and Johnny. That Karate Kid movie with Jackie Chan works because of the relationship between him and Will Smith's son. The Karate Kid, the original, works so well because of Mr. Miyagi and Daniel. This one doesn't have that connection, and it loses some of the charm and the heart because of it. But all in all, I enjoyed the film. Out of 5 possible you digs, I would give Karate Kid Legends 3. I would give it 3 out of 5. It tickles some nostalgia buttons, but nostalgia buttons that were already tickled by Cobra Kai. It doesn't do what Cobra Kai did any better or even the same. It does it just slightly under. It's a great follow-up to the Jackie Chan movie, but we need more Jackie Chan. We need more built up with Ralph Macchio and why Daniel LaRusso is so important to have to be there. Because otherwise, he's just put in there because, you remember Daniel's son? Yeah, he's back. So I would have liked a little bit more focus on that. But all in all, it was an enjoyable movie. I would give it 3 out of 5 you digs. If you've watched Karate Kid Legends, what do you rate it out of 5 you digs? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the comments. And until next time, this has been Rockin Robbie Live presents movie reviews. Karate Kid Legends. All right, we're done with that. Hey, am I back? Am I back, y'all? I'm pretty sure I'm back. Let me know if I'm back. I made the goof up on that one, y'all. I made the goof up. I was recording I was recording during the review. And then I went to hit the stop recording video and I hit the stop streaming button instead. So I was going on and on, y'all. I was going on and fucking on. I was talking about to y'all's comments. I was talking about how it is actually connected to, oh my God. Oh well. That's funny as shit. Good to know that I can hit stop streaming and then hit start streaming again and it just works. So that's nice. I was responding to your questions or your comments. In a nutshell, I was like, Dynamite, I do think that it was set up in Karate Kid 2 where Miyagi's ancestor loved fishing, loved sake. One day, no fish, too much sake, fell asleep, drunk, woke up on the shores of China, learned Kung Fu, came back to Okinawa and taught what eventually became Miyagi-Do karate. So it is connected, even though I do think, yeah, the same thing. That last Karate Kid movie should have been called The Kung Fu Kid. And this one, though, they actually do teach it where he's like, he knows Kung Fu, but he needs to learn this other Miyagi side of this now. So some interesting stuff. Yeah, I didn't have to restart the stream. That was dope. Yeah, and I also said, Fable, I didn't even know Joshua Jackson was in the movie either, and he was actually one of the better parts of it. But it does, because of his character, they don't have Mr. Han in there as much, and Daniel shows up. Daniel and Mr. Han show up basically just in the third act, just to kind of do some training and some bits. That's basically it. All right, I gotta pee. We're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, DC in the 2000s. Show and tell, and we're going to wrap this bitch up. See you here on Rockin Robbie Live. What's up, everybody? Welcome back here to Rockin Robbie Live, where I'm trying to figure out how to stream on YouTube for the first time, apparently. Not like we ain't been doing this for fucking 10 years. Anyway, what's up? Welcome back to the show. We've had a great show already. DC Sneak Peek, Karate Kid Legends review, a lot of chatting about comics, movies, pop culture, and a whole lot more coming up. We got DC and the Oddies, as well as a little bit of show and tell. We're going to be wrapping up the show here, but we still got a ways to go, so what's up, everybody? Welcome to the third act of Rockin Robbie Live. Follow Pop Culture Philosophers on Facebook and on Instagram. If you're on Facebook, join the PCP Army. The official Pop Culture Philosophers Facebook group, live right there right now. It's the 2025 Action Fest Van Dam poll. It's going to go till the end of the week right now. It's neck and neck between Hard Impact and No Retreat, No Surrender. So get into the PCP Army. Let your voice be heard. Check out popculturephilosophers.com for merch, podcasts, and even more. You can tip me on CashApp and on PayPal if you want to help support the journey to Heroes Con. Links to that in the description and pinned at the top of the chat. As well as following me on X if you want to at the Rockin Robbie, patreon.com/PCP, super chats, all that stuff. We love it. We love you. Coming up here, PCP Movie Night tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Central Time, Children of Paradise. Joe Corallo's pick for Crew's Choice. It is an over 3-hour-long black and white French film about a mime in love, and it's glorious. You can rent it on Amazon. I'd recommend that you check it out and enjoy us. So I plan on only being live for 2 hours tonight. We're running a little bit long. That's okay. Stop sleeping on Breaking Bad. I got 2 episodes left of Breaking Bad Season 1. I'm enjoying it after those last 2 episodes. I just didn't have time to do it this week because I was finishing up Cobra Kai in preparation for Karate Kid Legends. Something glitched out on my computer again. Fable says, Children of Paradise is giving me anxiety. Why, brother? It's a really good film. It's a really good film. This herb is legal in Alabama until the end of the year. So, there's that, brother. Then I guess I have to stop smoking it online or on air. Maybe I'm just trying to be cool. Maybe this isn't even weed at all. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I'm just trying to seem hip and cool and fresh. All right, anyway. Yeah, but Fable, don't get anxious, man. Just fucking rent it, spend the $4, rent it. You're going to enjoy it. It's in 2 parts. If I would have known that, I would have fitted over 2 different nights. You know what I'm saying? I would have fitted over 2 different nights. But I didn't realize that. I fit it all in one night. Don't worry, Fable. I'm telling you to trust me and Joe Corallo. That movie's actually really good. Hey, we got a super chat from Pete. Thanks for the shout out, Robbie. Wishing you and the PCP Army all the best. I just picked up that Transformers compendium. Great value. Yeah, it is. Did you get this cover or did you get the Daniel Warren Johnson cover? I wanted to get the Daniel Warren Johnson cover, but I had to get the old school Bill Sienkiewicz cover. That's what I had to do. By the way, everybody, Pete has just started a new YouTube channel. Fable, you're the only blue wrench I think I see here. I think Stu came in, said what's up and left. So if you could throw that link out to Pete's channel again, and now we're going to get to do Smoking a Blunt Hellboy song. Thank you, Pete. What's up, y'all? We have some fun with this one. Y'all ready? I want y'all to sing along. Let me tell you about this little man I know. His name is Hellboy. He was sent to the earth some long time ago to save it or destroy. Son of a demon and a nun who had the sex with the demon, but was raised by Professor Broom. And now he fights evil and monsters. Shit! Now he fights with a man who's a fish named Abe. Now he fights with a fire starter named Liz and an ectoplasmic mess named Johann. BPRD. All right, we're about to put this out. I don't want to smoke this whole thing by myself right now. We'll save that for later. All right. My fucking garbage disposal fucking fucked up today. Stopped working, turned on, heard a crackle. It's like, what the fuck is that sound? Open up my goddamn underneath my sink and there's like smoke coming out and shit. It's like fucking shorting out and like causing smoke. I was like, goddamn, is this shit about to catch my apartment on fire? It's Sunday. Office is closed. Can't do nothing about it till tomorrow. No garbage disposal. Smoked out the counter under my sink. What the fuck? Fuck, now I gotta air out this weed smell. Maybe I'll call him in a couple of days. Leave the windows open. Fable, of course, did the Kickstarter for Transformers, but got to wait till December for that one. That's cool, though, because then you get them. Like, they released G.I. Joe Compendium in paperback, and yeah, it's cheaper to do it that way. But they just released Volume 1. Everybody that did Kickstarter got them all. Same thing with the Transformers, right? Y'all haven't gotten them yet. But we do got the paperback. But I love these paperbacks. They're so light. The newsprint really reproduces those covers or colors very well. I'm very, very excited to dive into this. I got that and the G.I. Joe one. I haven't read a lick of it yet. Gotta start going through some of those, don't we? Let me pop that in. Oh, I love it. It's a very satisfying sound. Oh, love it. All right. Yeah, Pete, those do look off. 4.6 million. I think it's the most money. It's the most money raised for a comic book Kickstarter, I believe. Pete could not find the Daniel Warren Johnson cover anywhere. It was is that the direct market exclusive? I think. I don't know. I got the old school one. Same thing with the G.I. Joe Compendium. All right, this is what we're doing next. The text message. Hold on. Let's see if it's important. Oh. Anyway. All right. I really do appreciate the super chats tonight. They really do help out. If you want to help out, support the if you want to help support the Heroes Con journey, direct tips are the way to do that. There's your information in the chat if you want to help. It's been a great show already, y'all. Anybody else see Karate Kid? I guess nobody else saw it. What's up, Eddie? How you doing? Any comics you're dying to read that haven't come out yet this year? I'm sure there's something that I'm not thinking about. There's that new Superman book from the Ice Cream Man creators. W. Maxwell Prince, Martin Morazzo are doing Superman, the Kryptonite Spectrum. I'm very much looking forward to checking that out. Since I haven't really been doing the weekly pop culture wrap-up, man, I haven't been keeping up with solicitations as much as I typically would. Pete's excited for the new Batman with Matt Fraction. I'm excited for Jorge Jimenez to come in. I'm excited for a little bit of break from Hush 2 as well. Hush 2 is only doing 6 issues this year. Taking a break. Matt Fraction, Jorge Jimenez are relaunching Batman. Then Hush 2 will be coming back. And the next chapter of Hush 2 has been delayed a month, by the way. I don't know if you heard that. And Batman 89 Echoes, number 6, has been delayed out further, too. Ouroboros says, definitely that. And Philip Kennedy Johnson's Superman follow-up with Olgren. Yeah, thoughts on the delay? It's just Jim Lee couldn't do 6 issues in 1 year, even with a big lead-in time. No surprise. No surprise. Look at the art. Look at the art in Batman Hush 2. It's subpar for Jim Lee. It really is. And here's the thing. I am a guy who is very forgiving of artists who were big and hit their peak 30 years ago, okay? You hear my thoughts on the Frank Miller covers, okay? Here's the thing. Frank Miller's doing these covers, just making some money. This wasn't Ronin Book 2. Ronin Book 2, to me, was fantastic. Even the Frank Miller bits looked great. The storytelling was great. I think that Philip Tan, I believe, right? Daniel Henriquez. I think they were the ones who did like the finished art, but like Frank did the one issue, I think, in particular. Do I have that hardcover right here? Say what you will about Frank Miller's artwork. Especially and particularly on those covers he's been doing for Marvel. But he did some full-on pages in Ronin Book 2. And I thought they are fucking phenomenal. I think they're great. This style works for something like Ronin Book 2. Not necessarily for a Marvel cover. So then there you have Philip Tan. It is Philip Tan, right? What the hell are the credits? What the hell are the credits? Yeah, Philip Tan. Daniel Henriquez. Them working over Frank Miller's layouts. And then you have, in the back, some of Frank Miller's layouts. Now, this is great shit. That's great shit. Why am I bringing that up? Well, Jim Lee's a big fan of Frank Miller. He did the intro to that Ronin Book 2 hardcover. And if you haven't checked that out, I would highly recommend that you check it out. But here's the thing. I am a big defender of people because I know that you lose steps. Right? It's like the John Cena thing right now. Has he lost some steps in the ring? Abso-fucking-lutely. Has Frank Miller lost some steps? Yes. Has Rob Liefeld lost some steps? Yes. Has Jim Lee? Yes. And I'm rather forgiving and understanding of that. But man, in Hush 2, Jim Lee feels like he's lost the basics of his storytelling. Like, I don't know. There's something to me that's like, and bro, I get it. He is publisher of DC. He's incredibly busy. And he's getting older. But I don't think that it's his age at all. I think if his focus was this book, it would look just as good as the first Hush. Or All-Star Batman and Robin. But I honestly don't know if he's doing all of it. I don't know how loose his fucking pencils are. Or if it's like, I don't know. Is it penciled? Is it digital? Is Scott Williams doing a lot of work? Is it all digital? I have no fucking idea. No idea. But the other thing about Hush 2 is the story is just fucking ridiculous right now, 3 issues in. I'm going through the original Hush right now. We're about to get to it, right? This is the 3rd chapter of Hush. 3 issues into the original Hush, and I'm still invested. Trying to read it with an open mind without 20 plus years of me talking shit about this book. I'm trying to enjoy it, as I did when it first came out. My problem with Hush was not in the first 3 issues. So we'll see if my problems with Hush continue to develop. Because I do have more of a respect and appreciation for the character of Jason Todd. And that's one of the reasons why I hated Hush when it first came out. Was I hated Jason Todd. And I hated the fact that Hush was slightly responsible for bringing back Jason Todd. But I've come over on that. I've come around. Brother, I would love it if we got the end of fucking All-Star Batman and Robin, but that ain't ever gonna happen. Word God says Liefeld never had steps. I think he did. I think he still does. I am a Rob Liefeld fan, though. Ouroboros is excited for Elvira and Harley and Batman and Deadpool for sure. Yeah, me too. I'm looking forward to those. Oh, yeah, so up to Eddie. Eddie started his own channel? Fuck yeah, let's go. Yeah, Dungeon Crawlers excited for Elvira and Harley. Oh, I bet I might be able to get Amanda and Jimmy on the channel to talk about that book. I bet we could. That'd be cool. Ouroboros, Hush 2, 2025, 2026. Hush 3, 2027. Well, it's still going to be Hush 2, but it's this. Allegedly, we're getting the second 6 issues next year. But I doubt that right now. I think we'll get it maybe late next year. It seems weird, though. This is a weird idea, right? Where you're going to... Let's be honest. Batman numbers were really, really dwindling during the Chip Zdarsky, the tail end of that run, okay? Numbers were faltering. They had to do something, you're right? And I think that maybe what their something was Matt Fraction and Jorge Jimenez, but they realized that Matt Fraction's not the name anymore. And he was maybe for a brief time, but that was when the audience was even smaller, right? He had some really great stuff going on at Iron Man at a certain point. Matt Fraction's a solid writer. Sex Criminals, though, Jimmy Olsen, those are great books. Matt Fraction isn't a name right now. Jorge is, but he's been on Batman for years. So, okay, we're going to relaunch, but let's think about this. It kind of makes sense. Let's bring Jeff and Jim back in. We'll do 6 issues of the next chapter of Hush. Oh, y'all don't have an idea? Fuck it. Just fucking throw it together. We don't give a shit. Everybody's going to buy it anyway. And that's another thing. They're not going to... The new Hush 2 is selling really well. So they've goosed those numbers of Batman back up because of Jim Lee, Jeff Loeb. They're going to goose them back up again when they leave because of a new number 1. Maybe a new character too, right? Jorge's back. We get excited for a moment. They do 12 issues. Then we do Hush 2 Part 2. Boost those numbers back up after they've dwindled for 12 issues or less or more from Fraction and Jimenez. So DC's kind of got their next 2 years plotted out of how they're going to keep goosing numbers on Batman. So there you go. Amanda and Jimmy were very popular on Harley Quinn, for sure. I had a conversation with Jimmy on the channel a few years ago. You should look it up and check it out. He was very, very honest I really like Jimmy, and I've had a great conversation with him at Heroes Con one year, too, at the bar. Introduced him to Kevin. We had a good chat. Super cool dude. Super cool dude. And that was after he was on the channel, so he remembered me. And that's always nice, too. That's one of the reasons why I like to make these connections, because, I'm going to be honest with y'all, man. Like, I love comics, and I love the whole industry and the whole community. Not just the people who read and buy comics, not just the retailers, not just the YouTubers, but the creators themselves. I love talking to these people. I got ideas for things I want to do. We're working on a comic. So me and Kevin want to show it off at Heroes Con. So we're really, really excited for that. Oh, the Yankees finally beat the fucking Dodgers. Great. We got our asses stomped yesterday. Fuck, we got some super chats. Okay. All right. Metal Elf Collectibles. Any advice for a new channel, Robbie? Here's my advice for a new channel. Do you realize that you are kind of selling personality? But at the same time, do whatever interests you. And if something opens up, like if you have a video that works, follow that. Be smart with it. But don't spend your whole time on YouTube trying to chase the algorithm. We got friends that do that. Some friends that do very well with that. Some friends that don't. I've never been that guy. So people ask me advice on YouTube, and I mean, honestly, we're a small channel here, I got friends that are like bigger channels, and I'm sure they can give you great advice about thumbnails, about naming your content and all that shit. Here's the advice that I will give you, though. Be authentically you. Have fun. Do what you want to do. And if something seems to open up and it interests you, follow it. For instance, me. We started this channel as straight up a podcast about movies and wanting to do movie reviews, right? And I started just talking about comic books kind of on the side. And then people started caring about the comic book content. We went heavy into comic book content. But I still wanted to do the movie content, so I did the movie content. Even when people told me, you should separate these two channels, movies and comics, I didn't want to do that because this is Pop Culture Philosophers. What does that mean to me? It means it's me. It's my personality. It's the personality of Jelani. It's the personality of Brooks. It's the personality of, people that, John Hammertime Holshoe, Mike the Voice Matthews, Jay Strick, people that have been on this channel that are no longer on this channel, people that we have lost, for instance, that have been on this channel in the earliest days. R.I.P. Mark. But even now it's like Joe Corallo, Verno, Fable, Steph, Stu, Eric, Greg, Nick, many others. This Pop Culture Philosophers is us. This is our platform. This is our community. This is our world. This is our comic shop. This is our corner where we hang out. And then, all of a sudden, consistency is another thing I would tell you. Do it consistently. Find one thing you can do consistently. We started seeing growth when I was able to do the weekly comic book review every week. And even though movie content was not driving the numbers into the channel for years, we kept doing it. And then all of a sudden, go look at the most viewed Pop Culture Philosophers videos. They're PCP movie nights. That's insane. We have hundreds of thousands of views on PCP movie night. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. A show that draws at most 20 to 25 people during a live stream that can go 600,000 plus, 100K plus, 50K, 30K. There's a lot of those videos out there. Why did that happen? I stuck with it way longer than I should have. I'm not saying that's good advice. Do it consistently. Be authentic. Do what interests you. If you see a tunnel narrow in on a topic, go for it. But don't chase the algorithm. Just do it for fun. And be authentically you. Metal Elf. Metal Elf. Ouroboros says, Morrison or Hickman for Legion of Superheroes? My first instinct would say Morrison. I want any Grant Morrison comic I can get. If Grant Morrison wants to do Legion of Superheroes, let Grant Morrison do Legion of Superheroes. I will buy it and be very enthusiastic about it. That being said, Hickman's idea for Legion of Superheroes sounded really cool. However, I have heard that a lot of those ideas got funneled into his X-Men run. So now I don't know if he really has a Legion pitch. If he does, I would like to check it out. But Morrison, I would say Morrison over Legion, or over Hickman for Legion. What's up, Eric? Yeah, 6 Billion Demons was good. Nope, I'm thinking of 6 Billion Genies. Never mind. I've heard of that. I've seen some of the art from it, but I've never read it. Nobody does YouTube the way Robbie does, and that's why this channel is so awesome. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Glad we're making a difference. All right. It's time to go back. How far back in time to the 2000s for your segment tonight, where we continue our look at the original Batman Hush with DC in the Oddies. And we're going into Batman 610 tonight, the third part of Batman Hush, written by Jeff Loeb, illustrated by Jim Lee, Scott Williams on the inking. All right, this is the third chapter. We have now, at the point of recording this video, hit the third chapter of Hush 2. We just talked a lot of shit about it, or at least I did. How does the original Hush stack up? Pretty decent, pretty good. So in the first issue, we had Killer Croc show up. He was holding this boy for ransom for like $10 million or something. Batman comes in to stop it. Catwoman steals the money, gets away, takes it to Poison Ivy. She's being controlled by Poison Ivy. Meanwhile, Batman, chasing Catwoman, gets his rope line cut, falls to his near death, needs to have emergency brain surgery from his old friend who has been reintroduced for the first time, Thomas Elliot, and he gets miraculously saved. And now in the third chapter, we get right back to business. Why was Killer Croc holding ransom? This is not Killer Croc's typical motif. This is something that Batman is struggling with. He already knows that something is up. Plus, Killer Croc has been mutated into something weirdly different. The real reason is because Jim Lee wanted to draw Killer Croc this way. And it's even very inconsistent in this book. So that is a fault I find in this book, is the way Jim Lee draws Killer Croc is kind of inconsistent and not the coolest, whatever. But he's being held by the government. Batman's trying to get some information out of him. He's mad. He wants that money. Who stole it from me? He breaks out of his prison. Batman throws down some decent Jim Lee artwork here, especially here at the title page. Chapter 3, The Beast. Get back or I'll gut him. Third chapter into the original Batman Hush. We're getting plenty of action sequences done very expertly well by Jim Lee here. And you got Batman being spotlighted. Now, here's the thing. This feels in the story that it's just days after the events of Chapter 1. Okay, makes sense, because Killer Croc's being held by the government. Batman's there interrogating him. He wants to find this money. Batman knows that Killer Croc's being manipulated. Who stole the money? Who set this up? This isn't his typical MO. But Batman just had like life-threatening brain damage that had to have emergency surgery to finish it. And now he's just back out there being Batman, getting manhandled by Killer Croc. I'm unclear on the timeline. That's all. Amanda Waller shows up, and she is the leader of the department, or the office, I should say, of Metahuman Affairs. This is during the era in DC continuity where Lex Luthor was president of the United States. He became president of the United States in the 2000 election. I remember it very well. I was there. That's an awesome era of Superman comics. Joe Kelly, Jeff Loeb, J.M. DeMatteis, Joe Casey. You had some really solid writers doing solid work on Superman in this era. A lot of this is being reprinted in a new paperback compendium from DC called City of Tomorrow, Superman City of Tomorrow. Check that out. But anyway, Amanda Waller. So I love the usage here. She's kind of overused nowadays, especially post Absolute Power. But it works here because she wasn't really super used and she was part of that Lex Luthor president cabinet, right? So then, as Batman is out there trying to track down what's going on with this missing money from this Killer Croc ransom, Tommy Elliott shows up to Wayne Manor. Batman tells Alfred, just make up some excuses. And it's a weird little moment. Like, they're just kind of forcing in this character of Thomas Elliott. And one of my problems with Hush is it is rather obvious. Who is Hush? Spoilers, Hush is Tommy Elliott. He is. It's the new character that's introduced into the story. And there is a level of cleverness I think Jeff Loeb has about this that isn't quite warranted. He even comes across menacing. He's almost kind of set up as a red herring. And then we get this flashback, and we get Jim Lee doing some really interesting stuff here. Him, Scott Williams, I don't know how exactly they did this. If this is the sketches that got ink wash, or if Jim Lee did the ink wash, but I remember him like really experimenting with the style at this time, like a watercolory, ink washy type style that really does work. And so what you get here is a flashback that Alfred is remembering when Tommy Elliott, as a boy, his parents were in a car crash. He comes to see Bruce. He promises, Bruce does, that his father is going to save his parents. In fact, Bruce's dad cannot save the father. The mother lives and survives, but the father is dead. And little young Tommy Elliott blames Bruce. So we're already getting motives set in for why this dude hates him. Is it a red herring, or is it just way fucking obvious, y'all? I think it's pretty obvious. Then we got the best establishing shot so far of the Batmobile from Jim Lee so far. When it was introduced, his Batmobile in the last issue, I thought it was a little underwhelming. But here, you get some solid stuff. And then somebody immediately shoots out the tires of the Batmobile and it gets destroyed. He wrecks. And at this point in the story, I'm going, Bruce got his line cut. His Batmobile gets his tire blown out and just wrecked madly in some street in Gotham. What the fuck? But then he mentions, like, that's really hard to do. He mentions that he's got Kevlar and petroleum jelly in his tires or some shit like that. But he's hunting down Killer Croc and someone's trying to stop him. Killer Croc does hunt down Catwoman. Catwoman, of course, is the person who stole the money, the ransom money from Killer Croc, but she delivered it to Poison Ivy, and that's what she's explaining to Killer Croc here. It's an inconsistent Killer Croc from what we've seen, for instance, in that first issue of Hush. Killer Croc was giant and monstrous. And I'm not trying to get into Jim Lee, right? I think that he does a fine job illustrating this entire issue. For 3 issues so far, Batman Hush, the original, has been pretty solid, typical, awesome Jim Lee artwork. Like what we know, what we love. So anyway, I'm just saying Killer Croc is a little inconsistent. However, Batman shows up to save Catwoman. She's telling Croc, we're both being played. Batman's like, everybody's being played. Somebody's in charge of all of this. What's going on? Killer Croc reveals that he wants the money because he was trying to cure what happened to him. Somebody has caused this random mutation. And maybe that's an element in the story that explains why Killer Croc looks so different from panel to panel in this issue or in this series, is because he's like constantly shifting and mutating. But Batman, by the way, has a deal with Amanda Waller that he's got till midnight to stop Killer Croc. Midnight hits, the government shows up, they start attacking Batman and Killer Croc. They eventually capture Killer Croc, and then off there in the distance is Hush, who Batman has not met yet. He just suspects the involvements. And if you look, I remember us really pointing this out. They're trying to lead you to believe that Hush is going to be Jason Todd. So right there next to where Hush is a sign. I think it says Robinson, but right there it says Robbins. Pay attention to the Robins. But he does another Aristotle quote. He whispers, all men by nature desire knowledge. Batman looks, there's nothing there. But then he talks to Catwoman. He was disappointed to find out that Catwoman was stealing again. She had been on a heroic journey, but Batman and Catwoman at this point in comics hadn't really fully consummated their relationship. A lot of people forget this. This is a big moment in Hush, and there's a bigger moment that develops later on even in this same series. But he's relieved that she was being controlled by someone, and they have a talk. She goes, listen, you saved my life. Through the years, you've done that more than once. I don't think I've ever properly thanked you. Batman goes, don't. She goes, we've done this dance for a long time, too long. Aren't you at all curious? And I don't know if this is the first time this really happens. It's probably the first time post-crisis this really happens, but Batman and Catwoman, they embrace. And that's Batman 610. It's a pretty solid issue of Hush. Of course, I got these new facsimiles they're doing. I had my original issues. I sold them years ago. So I've been getting these facsimile foil editions. I love that they print the original ads. We've talked about that. Art's fine in the book. It really is. Jim Lee doing Jim Lee, getting it done. Big moments. Killer Croc is inconsistent. That slightly bothers me, but whatever. I love the tie-in into DC continuity. The mention of Lex Luthor being the president, Amanda Waller's involvement. Hush showing up, though. Tommy. It's just too obvious. It's so fucking obvious, right? I was like, it's too obvious. There's got to be another thing. So I remember when Hush first came out, I pieced together all the Riddler stuff. And I actually at first misguessed that Hush was Riddler because I thought the Tommy Elliott thing was too fucking obvious. But I was right about the Riddler's involvement, but not right about Tommy Elliott not actually being Hush. And now we're supposed to believe in Hush 2 there's an element of maybe it's not Tommy Elliott. I don't fucking know. But this works. This third issue is pretty freaking solid. 3 chapters into Hush. It's an interesting mystery, though it is very obvious that Tommy Elliott is Hush. Aside from that, that's a rather big moment that they let Jeff Loeb and Jim Lee do a big kiss for Batman and Catwoman that really set up and continued on the relationship they had. I think this is a rather solid issue of Batman Hush, y'all. I really do. So hell yeah, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 ya digs. What do you think about Batman Hush, Chapter 3, Batman 610? Let me know in the comments down below. Let me know in the chat right now. I rather enjoyed it. I think it's been one of the most solid issues of Batman Hush so far. I'm enjoying this retread through the original Batman Hush. How many more times going to say that? Let's just end it. This has been DC in the Oddies. All right, there you go. Dungeon Crawler says, PCP and movies are a good combo. I agree. Hell yeah. Oh, the creator of Kill 6 Billion Demons is doing a Wolverine comic for Marvel. That's pretty dope. I am a fan of Art Bell. DC Squared. Oh, you're welcome, Metal Elf. Hell yeah, Chocos. Fable threw out a link to the channel. Everybody check it out. Brett Hess is here. What's up, Brett? Good to see you here. I just tuned into He Was Manhandled by Killer Croc. Hell yeah. That's Batman Hush for you, man. What's up, Eric? Good night, Anthony. Yeah, how could one not love Selena? All right, Corey Hodges. What's up, Corey? Long time no see. Thank you so much for the super chat. Really do appreciate it. I don't know if we did the Joker song, or the Hellboy song, I should say, for Ouroboros and Metal Elf. So we're just going to combine it all into this awesomeness, y'all. Let's go! All right, we're going to need some help for this one, y'all. Let's go. Let me tell you about this little man I know. His name is Hellboy. He was sent to the earth some long time ago to save it or destroy. Brought to this earth by Rasputin, son of a demon and a nana who had a sex with the demon, but was raised by Professor Broom. And now he fights evil and monsters. Shit! Now he fights with a man who's a fish named Abe. Now he fights with a fire starter named Liz and an ectoplasmic mess named Johann. PPRD. Thank you so much, Corey. Really do appreciate it. Good to see you here, homie. 00711 says, love Hush. Batman 608 second print. My favorite Jim Lee cover of all time. It's one Batman doing the standing there, right? And then he did the same thing for Superman for Tomorrow, the Brian Azzarello book. It's a cool duo image. Happy to have you here, 00711. Choco says, I guess it's the first time Selena and Bruce started dating knowing their actual identities. Yeah, they don't reveal the actual identities yet, but it does happen. And it really is a big movement forward in the story. Hush was actually very important to the overall narrative of Batman at the time. No, I did not seek out The Boy Who Cried Bitch. You think I'll like it? What is that? Is that a movie? Is that a... Is that a movie, a comic, or is that a troll? What's up, Funk Doctor? Thank you, Pete, for the backup. Who is in charge of the community right now? Chocos is number 1, Fable's number 2, and Pete is number 3. Interesting. Interesting. If you could give Jim Lee one Superman writer to work with, who do you have? Grant Morrison. Yeah, I'm allegedly in New York at the end of August. It's going to be a mad dash there and back. We're going to tour Yankee Stadium. We're going to see Oasis. I don't know how it's going to happen, but we're going to try to get it done. So, the Oasis tickets are bought. Yankee Stadium tour tickets are bought. The Yankees are out of town, though. It's a movie. All right, thank you. I need to check it out. But yeah. All right, y'all. Time for show and tell. Tonight for show and tell, this is something I got recently. It's been sitting at my shop for a while, and I just grabbed it. This is the novelization of the Spawn movie. And it seems to me like this is something I really need to read and do a video on. Like, is that something y'all would like to see? I think I need to read this Spawn movie adaptation, novelization, and report back here to y'all. It's only 290 pages. It can't be a hard fucking read. I, for instance, have the Blade novelization, which illuminates elements of Blade to me. So maybe Spawn would do the same thing. So I'm thinking we should do a Spawn novelization review and maybe a re-review of the movie. I don't know. So yeah, I got that. Let me know what y'all think about that idea. Here's another book I picked up. We got a theme with books. I picked this up from my buddy's video store, Big Mix Vintage Video. Check him out. But this is by Billups Allen, no relation. He did the book that I showed off that I picked up at David's video store, called 100 Movies You Could See Before You Die or something. And this is, I exhibited films for a year. I lost money, but I think I made my point. And I know in a lot of bigger cities, people do exhibit older films in like theaters and like get-togethers and shit like that, right? But here in my town, there's a conscious effort to do this. There's a few people that do this, including KBS VHS, for instance. And they are putting together a screening at a comedy club here called Shenanigans. They are putting together a screening of Jurassic Park for Wednesday that I'm going to. So I'm really, really excited to help support this stuff. But this is about a dude who did the same thing. He's part of Goner Records. And the bookmark came out of it. But Goner Records put this together. Did his other book too, which I think is called 100 or maybe 101 movies you could watch before you die. So I'm excited to dive into that. It's really, really small. But here's another book I got. The Invisible College. This is a Jacques Vallée book. Jacques Vallée is one of the big proponents of the ultra-terrestrial theory of UFO contact experiences and other strange phenomena. And it's something I'm passionate about, something that I'm working with a group of like-minded people about with a show right now, which you've seen some of the stuff for. But yeah, The Invisible College, what a group of scientists has discovered about UFO influence on the human race. I'm a big fan of Jacques Vallée, so that was cool. And I finally got the seeker that I've been seeking. I needed him so much. I needed him so much. And now I finally got him. Fable, can you tell me how happy you are for Rockin Robbie? Y'all, I finally got fucking Ramjet. Jesus Christ. Ramjet has eluded me for so fucking long. I love the Seekers. The only reason why I started collecting modern Hasbro Transformers was to get a complete, or as complete as I could, collection of Seekers. And it's spiraled into this nonsense fucking bullshit, man. Dirge and Ramjet were originally released as an exclusive somewhere. They got super expensive. I think it was Amazon exclusive. It was stupid as fuck. Same thing with Thundercracker and Skywarp, but I got in on that, but I missed out on Ramjet and Dirge. They finally did Dirge. They finally did Ramjet, and I finally fucking got a hold of Ramjet. Bruh. I just couldn't be more excited. So be happy for me. Yeah, let's go, brother. So only Ouroboros wants to see the Spawn novelization be review. Oh, you have the OG X-Men adaptation? That would be a cool review. Oh, I never got that one. I didn't even know they did one. Like for the movie? Now I got like a Star Trek X-Men one. I think I got a couple of those. I think they're over there. That'd be a fun fucking thing to review it. Oh, you still don't got... Oh, I got Thrust, man. So now I have Ramjet and Dirge, Starscream, Thundercracker, Skywarp, Sandstorm, Thrust, Cloudseeker. Is that the G2 one? I got Cloudseeker. I got the G2 Ramjet. I don't know if you count them, but I got Cyclonus. And I guess Scourge. I don't know if I really count those, but I got them. I got the triple pack that I've never opened, actually. They're Cybertronian forms, but it's Acid Storm, Ion Storm, and Sunstorm, maybe? Blue, green, and yellow. I still have never opened that. It's still just over there. We got to open that one day. We'll do a Heroes Con. How about this? Maybe next week or two, we'll do a Heroes Con crowd fund for funds to get to Heroes Con. And if we hit the goal, we'll open that shit up. That'd be fun. I've had that shit for forever. Need the Tetrajet Seekers. No. I got, like I said, I got the triple pack, but I'd rather have Earth mode if possible. I'd be curious to know if the book is better than the movie, so sure, let's do a Hellboy book report. No Cliff Notes now. Is there a Hellboy novel adaptation? I really like the new Roadhouse. Do you think Gyllenhaal would make a good DCU Batman? No, I don't. I think the new Roadhouse has things about it that are interesting enough. I don't think him for Batman. I do think there would be a place for him, but I think it's more Wildcat. Ooh, think about that. Not old enough, I guess, but maybe a young JSA movie set in like the 40s. Him as Wildcat. That could be pretty dope. All right, y'all. We're dipping out. It's a big week for Marvel this week. I did want to cover that real quick. It's a huge week for Marvel this week. We have Imperial. We have Ultimate Wolverine 6. Amazing Spider-Man 5. X-Men 17. Ultimate Spider-Man Incursion #1. Cody Ziegler. Dennis Camp on that one. Imperial, like we said. The Death of Thor stuff. I'm not reading that. I'm done with all new Venom. Pretty big week, though. Some big titles out this week. Oh, yeah. Marvel Knights, The World to Come. Pretty big Marvel week. All right. Oh, yeah. The Spawn book, man. I would love to see. Yeah. I need to rewatch the movie and then read the novel. I'll try to get on that. All right, y'all. We're dipping out. Thank you so much for checking out the show, checking out the stream. On behalf of everybody here at PCP Station, we love you. Keep on rocking. Keep on reading. Keep on loving. Keep on living, y'all. You're worth it. Station. Have a good one. Good night. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the post-credits. No big reveal about the future of PCP or nothing. Next week, we'll be revealing the Action Fest lineup. So, Fable, if you're still here, get ready for that. Oh, yeah, I guess I just spoiled that. So, if you're here for the post-credits, Fable is joining us for PCP Movie Night for Action Fest this year. Well, not for PCP Movie Night. Fable's a lot, often on PCP Movie Night. Fable's channel, One Collection Down, is joining us for Action Fest this year, I should say. So there you go. All right, we're gonna open something up. So I recently got a birthday gift last month from my boy Kevin, who I'm doing a Mortex with, which is our comic book we'll be trying to show off around Heroes Con. Kevin, by the way, is tabling at Heroes Con, so check him out there if you're going to be there. But he picked me up this Invisible Man figure. Now, NECA's been doing these Universal Monster figures that I love and adore, and I've been buying them. I got some of my boxes up there. The only problem with this is that this is the second iteration of the Invisible Man. I thought about getting the first one, and I was going to get it, but then I heard that they were doing the second one. The first iteration is when he first appears in the movie. He's got the fake nose and all that shit. This is the one that I love the most. This is the look of the Invisible Man that I love. The only problem is because it's the second iteration, the box art, which is amazing box art, it's great, but it's not the original movie poster, which the rest of them are. That kind of upsets me just a little bit. But there's the figure inside of there. But that's the figure I want to go along with my Universal Monsters NECA collection. So we're going to open this up. I always wind up ripping the fucking box on these, and I don't intend to. There we go. Let's cut this bad boy out of there. He's got a bunch of different heads where you can have him in various bandage dresses. He's got a book, chemistry and physics book. He's got some extra bandages. You can take the scarf off of him. He's got different hands. He's got some of the tongs from the fireplace. NECA does a great job with these. They do a lot of horror iconic figures, and they did Universal Monsters, and they've now expanded to do Hammer characters, which I think is really cool. I haven't gotten any of those yet, but they did a Peter Cushing Van Helsing and a Christopher Lee Dracula. But that's the Invisible Man I wanted right there, y'all. That's the look I know and love. That's what he looks like in the majority of the movie. This is the Kemp House look, I believe is what it's called. Pretty dope figure. Invisible Man's a great movie. We covered this movie on March Madness last year. So check it out on the Rewind if you have never seen it. All right. So yeah, another figure opened up to add to the collection. So you all have a good one. Choco says they do live every Saturday at 11 p.m. Eastern. Everybody go check that out. All right. We love you. Station. Pop, pop, boom.